know we're Hello, welcome, live stream, Normal America. Hopefully my mic doesn't suck. I don't know. It's a late one, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for 2.5 hours in the car when one of the worst live streams you've ever heard. And right out of the gate, we're starting off swimmingly as a guy pulls up on my right as I'm trying to leave the gas station to the point where I can't see. And now he pulls up higher. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Oh, anyways, I am coming back from Williamsport to my hometown. I was at an event for the PA Republicans in Wysox, Pennsylvania, and it was a good one. Really was. Mixed feelings. Actually, great feelings about the rally. It was a lot of fun, but mixed feelings politically given the optimistic message at the rally versus what I see as negative stuff. Because, I didn't get to follow a lot of the news of the day, but I did see as I was pumping gas, Mr. President put out a little statement about the Epstein stuff that looks shittier than ever. Yay! Amazing. What can you do? So, give me 1 second here because this is, you know how it is. When you're near your destination or where you're first leaving, it's always more. What the fudge? This doesn't look right. 1 second. Yeah, I think this is right. Okay. Give me a second. All right. We be going. All right. And away we go. Now, this stream will suck. The big reason for me streaming is because you guys are the best. You're the super best. The second reason for me streaming is because I need money. And we're trying to get to that goal at 357. So get those donos in. I promise the stream, as shitty as it is now, it'll get a little better. The third reason that I'm streaming is to stay awake. Because that's always good. You want to stay awake when you're driving. That's important. So I won't really be reading the chats. Hell, I won't even really know if my if my stream cuts out. But I think we made it basically the whole way last time. I cut out right by my house, and I think that was about it. So, like I said, just until I get on the main road here, I got to pay attention to the traffic a little more. So I'll be a little distracted, and obviously safety first. But as I was saying, it's a weird thing, right? Because when you're dealing with people in politics, there was 2 congressmen I was hanging around with, some state reps, Pennsylvania GOP people, some people that look like they're going to be candidate for governor here in Pennsylvania, and Scott Presler. I was hanging out with Scott Presler. When you're dealing with people that are doing politics, particularly at like an event like this, a Republican event, it's like team sports. Go team, win, red, red, red. Turn everything red. Republicans got to win. It doesn't matter. You could fight in the primary, but whoever wins the primary, that's it. We're supporting no matter what. How do we get more victories? And I get that. And it's, yes, that's an appropriate mindset to have. It is. And I'm not that. I'm that when it comes to election time. I am. When it comes to, okay, you think I don't have things to criticize about Trump 2 months before the 2024 election? Of course I do. But that shit gets put in the back burner. Now it's time, all hands on deck, win this election, and then gripe, and then complain. That's my philosophy. So I got a lot to gripe about, and a lot to complain about Trump, particularly with this Epstein shit, which I think's damn near approaching unforgivable regions. But in fairness, I have not parsed through the statement. I read it quickly while pumping gas. So I haven't really had much time to ruminate. Apparently, that's what this stream will be for, to think about things like that. But you juxtapose it with, I'm talking to these people that are like, look at the achievements of Trump. Apparently today is the first month that we have a government surplus since like 2020, something like that, which is a pretty incredible achievement. The border's more secure, definitely. The USAID being cut, okay, yeah. They put out statements that we're going to go after Act Blue, we're going to go after Brennan, we're going to go after Comey. We'll see what comes of that, but okay. Are we in a better position than we would be with Kamala Harris? Yeah, I believe that. So then, should I be blackpilled? Or should I be yay team? It's weird, right? Because, truth be told, probably by the time we get around to the 2026 midterms, I'm going to come to the conclusion that I'll do everything I can in the primaries to get the people that I want. And that's arguably more important than the general election, right? It is. But when it comes time to actually pull the lever in 2026, I'm probably going to say, fuck these Democrats. Even if I have to pinch my nose and vote Republican, that's what I'll do. And I'll fight hard to win in the next primary so that I get people in there I like. Now, I'm not saying that the people necessarily that represent me in my district are bad Republicans. I have mixed feelings. I like most, though. But with the top of the ticket with this Epstein shit with Trump, it infuriates me. It really does. And I would be lying if I didn't I exchanged some words with some folks today. Not so much publicly at the rally, but behind the scenes, when I was going there, some people involved in politics and me had quite the dust up. Them saying, look, there's probably things going on behind the scenes you don't know about, so don't freak out about this. And me saying, nope, I'm freaking out. But it's weird. It's a different thing, right? It's different. You can see how people could get into politics with good intentions and lose themselves. Even just doing something like today. And no one I was dealing with is shitty. No one that I was dealing with today. Scott Presler's not shitty, right? The congressman, I'll talk about the congressman I was with today. They're not shitty, right? But they're going to be like, yeah, man, we get it. We're not getting everything we want either. But what are we going to do? Give up? Let the Democrats win? And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. But then you get in your car and you start driving your home and you're like, yeah, but isn't that what we always say? Isn't that right? That's why this shit gets as bad as it does, because we're always like, well, we can't let the other side win. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I do know that there is a 98% chance come 2026 election, I'm voting Republican. So am I burning down the fucking barn now, only to know that I'm going to have to patch it back up come 2026? No, I guess I'm not trying to completely burn shit down. It's not what I'm trying to do. But I feel that as a supporter of the administration that's in there, that voted for primarily draining the swamp, that I've earned the right to bitch. That I think this is shit with this Epstein stuff. That's what I think. I think it fucking sucks. And we've gone through theories why I think this is going on. I don't need to relitigate that unless I run out of shit to say. I don't know. But it's being handled in about the worst way possible. And if Trump doesn't correct course, he's going to lose the midterms. That's what's going to happen. Something good better happen. If he doesn't correct course on this, then we better get something real fucking good. Like deporting 3 million people. Or literally arresting Comey and Brennan and sending them to prison. Or proving that the 2020 election was stolen. Or arresting dozens of people at Act Blue. Something fucking good better come. Or the economy shooting to levels we never thought possible. That still won't make this Epstein situation right. It won't. But if he wants, just from a pure political calculus, maybe they do understand how much it's pissing off the base. Maybe they get it. And they just say, well, there's nothing we can do. We made a deal. Either Trump's heavily on the list. I still do not believe that Trump did anything untoward there. But maybe he's on the list in some more capacity than we already know. And he doesn't want to have to explain himself. Or there's pressure being put on him through either donors or people that he needed compromises for to get his legislative agenda passed. Whatever the reasoning, unacceptable. Unacceptable. Maybe he's like, oh, yeah, okay, my base will be a little shitty, but if I don't release anything more in Epstein, then I'll get the votes I need for the big, beautiful bill. Yay! Guess what, Trump? It wasn't worth it, if that's the calculus you made. You better come through with big victories, or else you're going to lose the midterms. Then you're going to fight for the last 2 years of your presidency, impeachments, over and over and over, and get nothing accomplished. But no one's talking about that shit here today. No one's talking about the Epstein shit. The only thing you hear about, it's like, it's being blown out of proportion. Trust him. He's got something up his sleeve. And it's like, I don't believe that. I don't. I don't believe there's some grand master plan that he's waiting to bait the hook. I don't believe it. I think that he put himself in a fucked up situation that now he can't find a way out of. I don't think, look, Pam Bondi sucked. She should be removed for reasons we've already talked about. She told us she saw the evidence. She told us the list was on her desk. Now she's saying it doesn't exist. Goodbye. But the truth is, it may not be her fault at all. It may be that Donald Trump himself said, this is what you're going to say. And if that's the case, can he really fire her? What do you expect her to say? Be the scapegoat? Never say a word the rest of her life? You think that's going to work out? Word was that Bongino was fighting both with Pam Bondi and then today with Susan Wiles. I don't know if it's true. What I was reading, and again, I don't know if this is true because you have to understand, I only looked at like 5 minutes of the news today. I think I read that on Truth Social Media, Trump's own platform, his statement that he put out this evening about Epstein got ratioed. Now, granted, the argument will be made, well, the online audience is one thing, but how's that translate into real politics? My answer is at least some, and I think greater than those people would have you believe, but to get ratioed on your own platform. Has Trump ever been ratioed since he's been president? Now, maybe those numbers were early and they've rebounded. I don't know. Or maybe I was just being totally bullshitted. I didn't have time to vet it myself. But that's how unpopular this shit is. This Epstein shit. And I don't much feel like fucking defending the guy, if I'm quite honest. And it's with a heavy heart, too. Because you're talking to these people today. I'm talking to politicians and shit. But I'm also talking to regular folk. And they're like, oh my goodness, I got to meet Trump. It's so inspiring. He's such a great, and they mean it. They're not dumb people. They're not shitty people. And I think that Trump's a pretty good guy, ultimately. I think that he is someone that gives a shit about blue-collar workers. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being duped. But that's what I think. I think he's either protecting himself, people he cares about, people that gave him political favors to protect them, and thinking, I don't think any of these people actually did anything with children there. And you know what? For the good shit I'll get in covering this up, we'll get to secure the border and we'll mass deportations and, we're going to get tax cuts and we're going to get, all this good shit. So yeah, this will blow over. Maybe he's right. It will blow over. But I don't know. And I'm dealing with these people today, and I'll be honest with you, man. I'm having to bite my tongue because there's part of me that just wants to be like, you guys are okay with this shit? You're okay with it? You fine with that? You fine with the president just being like, yeah, you know what? Who really gives a shit about, child essay? Oh, well, time to move on. You okay with that? How is this not the biggest attack on Trump from Democrats from here forward? How is it not? Unlike Russiagate, unlike, oh my God, he said to drink bleach, the fine people hoax. This is real. This is a real hoax. Or not a hoax. This is a real controversy. Fucking real. 100%. What do you do when you talk to someone and they say, Trump's on the list? He did it. What are you going to do? Say no? Oh yeah, then why doesn't he release it? Trump said today the list was created by Obama and Biden. And get the fuck out of here, man. Just say nothing. Saying nothing at this point is better than what you're saying. Bullshit. Now I'm supposed to believe that the shit we want to see was just bullshit created by the whole time. So when Trump's out there campaigning like, yeah, we'll probably release the Epstein list, he knew all the while, actually, it's a bullshit list that was concocted by Joe Biden. Now, and to be quite honest with you, I care less about the list than, one, actual people that assaulted children spending the rest of their life in prison or worse. And if that's not possible, because we can't prove it, then I want to know also, in addition to that anyways, what our intel agency's role was. What did they know? What are they covering up? So with that on my mind, I enter the rally here and I talk to a bunch of cool people and politicians, and why couldn't this have been last week before the Epstein shit? It would have been more fun, to be quite honest. But, I saw Tim Dillon today say, pick the people assaulting kids that has the policies you like most. You want tax cuts? Okay, then go with this group of politicians that are assaulting kids. Oh, you like, more robust social level? Then go with the other group that likes assaulting kids. But whatever you do, it's too much to ask to not assault the kids. That's too much. That's too much for us as a country to, nope, sorry. You have one group or the other that's protecting people that are assaulting children. That's, that we must have. That's inevitable. We have to have that. I understand the perspective. Trump's the best we got. He's better than the Democrats. Democrats weren't going to release the list, or if they did, it would be shady. And they're not going to aggressively go after people that do this shit. And it's going to be worse. And they're going to be transing the kids in school. And they're going to open the border back up. And they're going to, all this shit. Thanks, buddy. They're going to this, and they're going to that, and they're going to this. Yeah, you're right. But I compromise my principles? That's what I'm supposed to do? And what are we supposed to do? Oh, well, nothing to see here. Maybe our CIA's helping people assault kids so that they can get blackmail. Maybe that's what's happening. Oh, well. Anyways, let's bomb Iran again, right? Thank you, CIA, for that intel that we're using to bomb Iran. You guys are great guys. Let's send some more weapons to Ukraine. CIA says it's a good idea. They came up with that idea as they were paying people to assault children. Nice. Don't worry, though. It's all to protect us from ISIS or something, right? What a load of shit. And then to watch these smug fucking, see, that's it. Can we finally, is that it? That's finally it. Can we finally be done with it? Trump put the nail in that coffin. Okay, motherfuckers. And listen, make no mistake about it. These people are going to blame people like me when Trump loses the midterms. Oh, it's your fault for talking about it. If only you would have just stuck your fucking fingers in your ear and went, bah, 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 then no one would have said anything bad and Trump would have won. The Republicans would win. By the way, same group largely that told you 15 days to slow the spread. And I said, hey, whoa, Trump's fucking up. This is bad. Shut up. Trust the plan. Cool. Then when Trump loses, I guess that's my fault then too, right? I should have never criticized him. It's all so tiresome. I'm not saying it's not salvageable. Maybe there's enough pressure that Trump, whatever fucking deal Trump made and promises he made, he'll say, I can't do it anymore. I have to fucking do something. Maybe. Or maybe he gives us substantial victories on other things, as I said. Maybe we enter, well, what do? You know, geez, if I was a conspiracy-minded person and I thought powerful people were pressuring Trump not to release the list of people that assaulted children, and it looked like he was starting to crack and say, oh shit, I'm getting so unpopular, I might have to do that. Maybe I'd start a war. That'd get people's minds off it, huh? A good old attack. Now, the CIA wouldn't do that, right? I mean, the same CIA that may be covering up for child offenders. He don't make it easy, does he, Trump, to fucking try to defend his administration and his policies? You get tired of winning, he says. I was looking forward to it, too. Winning a lot would have been nice. Having to defend people covering up for child predators, not really my cup of tea. And I know I can't see if I'm even streaming right now, but I know half my fucking audience is going to be like, come on, Rob. Jeez Louise. Oh, it's time to move on. It's not that big of a deal anyways. Okay. Good luck. I'm going to go ahead and stay principled against child predators. You know, that's me. I know that's a weird stance to take, I guess. Honest to goodness, an hour ago, before I read this message, this stream was going to start off much differently. And maybe that's a sign a week from now I'll be like, okay, things have blown over a little. Maybe. Say, hey, Rob, why don't you go back and listen to that stream you did last week? The awesome one in the car where we all donated hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. If you're still streaming, we don't know. I assume the super chats are rolling in with all this fun conversation we're having. But that's my piece on what little I read of Trump's comments tonight. Again, fucking horrible. Again, horrible. Again. What the? Anyways, back to the rally, I guess. So, who was there? Matt Wolford and Maria Battista. Maria's running for Superior Court, and Mr. Wolford is running for Commonwealth Court. Now, let's try to put aside our anger at Trump, my anger at Trump, I don't know about yours, with the Epstein shit. Let's take a broader look. Are you sick and tired of temporary restraining orders and activist judges acting like they're more powerful than Congress and the president? Then you should probably vote in an off-year election like this year. That's probably what you should do. The problem is, particularly Republicans struggle in these off-year elections. So then in a state like Pennsylvania, what ends up happening is we end up with Democrat-controlled judges or judiciary that then are making important fucking rulings like mail-in voting on Act 77 and all sorts of other shit. And so I'm going to make it part of my duty from now until November to make sure that I'm routinely talking, not just on my channel, but also in my state about the importance of getting out and voting for these judges. In addition, in equal importance to that, there are 3 Democrat judges on the Supreme Court. And there is a vote for retention. If the vote for retention, I have to look at how it's worded. If it is voted that they're allowed to retain their seats in Pennsylvania until, I believe, 2035, we will, at a minimum in 2035, it'll take until we could make sure that we don't have a Democrat majority in the Supreme Court. If we vote against retention, we will be having their seats up in 2027, which will give us a chance. So that's important to go vote for that. And it is something that I, as small of a channel as I am, I'm committed to working more with these people that are running for these seats and trying to do what I can to get them across the finish line. So look for me to have some guests on, like those judges, to talk about their judicial philosophy, to talk about the unique situation in Pennsylvania and why it's important to get out and vote for them. Now, that might not be interesting to you if you're not in Pennsylvania. Why do you care? Well, one, because you should still care that we have conservatives even in states that you don't live in. But secondly, you probably have judges up for election in your state. And no matter how deep red your state is, or deep blue for that matter, it's important to try to get out there. And I'm not telling you you have to vote red no matter what. That's probably a good policy, or at least better than not voting. But get informed. Try to get out there in the primaries. Many of the primaries are over. Our primaries were in May. But get out there and vote. It sounds cheesy. It sounds stupid. But that's something that I'm going to be focused on. So look for that. I think both of those judges are going to be coming on my show at some point. Had a pretty good conversation. Ironically, one of them, this is unbelievable, but Maria Battista used to be the president of Clarion University's debate team, which is where I debated, and I was the president of the debate team. Of course, I was 20 years after her, but pretty cool. So I thought that was a neat little connection. It was like, yeah, all right. So yeah, I talked to them. It was interesting to talk to them and the importance of these judge matters going on. Then I talked to Scott Presler. Scott is, so let's get the fucking elephant in the room, because I put a picture up of me with Scott Presler. And yeah, listen, I know there's a lot of people that watch me that are of the belief that no gay person ever should vote the same way we do. That we should not try to get gay people to vote for the politicians we want, and it's an abomination and horrible and blah, 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 blah. I do not share that belief. I'm trying to win important races, in my opinion. That's what I'm trying to do. I want black people to vote for us and white people and Hispanics and gays and straights and whatever. Even trans people. I don't give a shit. That doesn't mean we should change our ideology. You think homosexuality is a sin and they shouldn't be allowed to get married? Fine, that's cool. Don't change what you believe, but you be honest about it. And if they say, yeah, we still want to vote, say, good. So I know half the comments on my video, my picture I put up with me and Scott Presler were like, oh, you're hanging out with the gay guy. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Scott Presler probably did more to win Pennsylvania for Trump than anyone aside from Trump. That guy's out there every day, busting his ass, trying to get people registered to vote. He's going to Amish country. He's going to the inner city. And everywhere in between. And you don't have to like his lifestyle. That's fine. But I can appreciate someone who's actually doing thankless work on the ground, trying to help the political party that I happen to, I guess, be in. Perpetually win. Now he's in New Jersey doing the same thing, trying to turn New Jersey red. That's commendable. And he did it for a long, long time while Ronna McDaniel was at the RNC with no help. None. From purely a communication standpoint, Scott Presler is an amazing speaker. He used no notes. He knew every single important person and important race at this rally. He knew the exact amount of registered Republicans and Democrats in the state. He also knew those exact numbers from 5 years ago when he started. Suffice it to say, since Scott started this campaign to register Republican voters in Pennsylvania, Republicans went from being roughly, make sure I'm going right here. Republicans went from being roughly 1.2 million down to about 170,000. If you take out inactive voters, Republicans in Pennsylvania now are only about 70,000 votes behind Democrats. That is incredible if you knew where this state was 5 years ago. Even when Republicans are winning races, Democrats by far outnumber them when it comes to registered voters. And that's because if you don't know Pennsylvania, basically we have Pittsburgh, and then on the other end of the state we have Philly, and then up north you have Erie, and everything else is bright red. Everything else is super Republican. And yet Philly in particular, but also Pittsburgh, and to a lesser extent Erie, though Erie's close to being red, they swamp everything else because there's so many more people there. And so it's really an incredible achievement. I got to talk to Scott, and we're setting up an event. We're looking at September, and that's going to be, I think we're going to meet up and go to a county fair, and we're going to live stream the event as Scott's going to set up a booth, and he's going to try to register more voters at that county fair. It's going to be the Bloomberg County Fair. And the goal is that I'll be live streaming there too, and we're going to try to help people all throughout Pennsylvania, and for that matter, throughout the country, understand not just the importance of registering to vote, but how to do it and how to become active to get other people to register to vote. So that's the goal, and I'm more than happy to participate in that with Scott. And I was impressed talking to him. I can't believe how fucking tall the guy is. Like, he's probably a foot taller than me. I mean, jeez. Let's see. Starting to get confused here. There's a ton of road work going on here, so I'm trying to figure this out. But yeah, I enjoyed talking to him. And fuck everyone that's like, yeah, but he's gay. Why would you talk to him? I just don't give a shit in that sense. I don't. So it is what it is. I think he's doing tremendous work. He showed up there. In many senses, he's the biggest presence there, which tells you a lot. There's sitting congressmen there. There's judges there. There's officials from PAGOP. The head of the NRA was there, the national head of the NRA. And people were gravitating towards Scott because he is very genuine and he very much is trying to get every single possible human being to vote for Republicans and register in the state of Pennsylvania. So I commend that, and I'm happy to help him. I've talked to Scott in the past behind the scenes, and it was nice to finally meet him in person and set something up. So I'll be happy to do that. That should be coming out in around September, so it'll be an in real life event. I'll have to make sure my microphones and everything are better by then, my mobile setup, but we'll get that taken care of. So that'll be good. I met a very interesting guy. He's probably my favorite person to talk to today. His name was Dwayne McDavitt. He is the president for Bikers for Trump in Pennsylvania. Awesome dude, man. Like, we talked about politics a lot. We also talked about Penn State wrestling, and he was a bodybuilder at one time. Just super cool guy, man. Cool as shit. He's going to come on and do the show at some point. He's got an awesome story. It's how he got involved, sort of doing the Bikers for Trump stuff. He's personally met Trump many times. Eric Trump. He's been to Mar-a-Lago. Real cool guy. And someone who, like, I always gravitate towards people that I think, like, aren't politicians. Like, I like people that are getting involved that I look at like me, that are like regular fucking people. Like, this dude's a biker. Like, we're talking about metal music and shit, you know? And let me make sure that wasn't right. Okay. Give me 1 second. I think my exit's coming up here, I think. So he's cool as shit, man. You guys would love him. Like, he just super easy to talk to. Regular dude, you know? And knows his shit too, right? And he was the only person there. We're sitting at the end of the night. It's like, it always ends up this way. Me and my man Carlos, we always end up, everyone comes over to our table, all the Congress people and shit. People that want to will have cigars, a couple beers, and you just shoot the shit about what's going on. Some of the shit stays at the table. Some of the shit I can talk about. But that's sort of, you know, that's how it goes. And he's the only one, all these people that were around, he's the only person I heard be like, so, what do you think about this Epstein shit? It's kind of pissing me off. He's like, I don't know what I think about Pam Bondi. And everyone else was quick to move the conversation on. And I was like, yeah. You know, real fucking guy, man. And, you know, sometimes you meet this guy, man, like, he's basically through word of mouth and social media. Anytime there's an event, man, this guy could rally 300 bikers in Pennsylvania to come to the cause. I mean, just cool as shit, man. Real cool guy. It was a pleasure to sit there and talk to him. And I can't wait to bring him on stream because I think you guys are going to really like him. Hell, I'd like to go hang out with them in real life and do a stream in real life. I think it would go much better. Talk to a bunch of bikers, man. I think that'd be cool as shit. So I told him we're going to set some shit up. We exchanged information. So that should be good. I talked to a woman named Janice Ferguson. I thought this was an interesting conversation. So she is from Philly, and she has a Facebook page for daycare owners. But as a business owner in inner city Philly, in like black neighborhoods, she feels like the Democratic Party's screwing over Philadelphia. And so she's partnered up with this other gentleman. I need to get his full name, but I talked to him, an older gentleman who's also a business owner there. And they're basically rallying Republicans and trying to get a Republican presence in Philadelphia because of how insane, not just the crime and shit like that, but also the business regulations. And so one of the people that was there was telling them that I'd been making this big stink since I first started showing up at these things around 2018, 2019, that the Republican Party is not doing enough to go into the inner city. Again, I can't stress this enough. I'm not saying that you or the Republican Party, for that matter, needs to change their beliefs. I don't believe that. But you should try to sell your message to everyone possible. Be honest, but sell your message. Why aren't we? Why wouldn't I think that the ideas of, like my ideas of populism, ending political corruption, small government, fiscal responsibility, I think that message is just fine for inner city black people. I think that would be best for them as well. So why shouldn't we be going into these communities with that message? And the problem is, and I've told this story before, back in like 2020, I was on a conference call with a bunch of the state reps for the PA GOP and Trump's team, and they're explaining what our goals are in each county, and I finally got to ask a question and said, what are our goals to reach out to communities that don't traditionally vote for us? And they're like who? And I was like single mothers, inner city blacks, young people. And the answer I was given, and there were witnesses to this, was we don't go after those people, we go after the low-hanging fruit. And I said, okay, Trump lost then. He's going to lose Pennsylvania. Because as bad as the Democrat policies have been in the inner city, if the Republicans refuse to even talk, then there's zero chance that things ever change. Would you vote for a group that's unwilling to even have a conversation with you? So I've been harping on this for years. So they point these folks in my direction, and we had a talk. And I think I'm going to try to head to Philly and talk at one of their events, which I will be more than happy to do. So that will be another fun in real life. We would stream that as well. But I look forward to heading into the inner city black community in Philly and grabbing myself a cheesesteak and talking to a bunch of people that want to bring conservatism to the inner city. I think it's a good fucking message. So that was a fun conversation. I'm trying to think who else I talked to. Congressman Scott Perry was there. I did not get to talk to him. Very impressive speaker. Smart dude. And then Congressman Dan Meuser, friends. I don't know if he'd say I'm friends with him. Talk to him every year at this event. Real cool guy. Smart. Trump's go-to guy in Pennsylvania as far as congresspeople. He had some interesting shit, some inside baseball to talk about sort of the machinations between getting enough votes for the beautiful bill. He's focused on Doge cuts. That's his focus. We're going to get these cuts put in. We're going to whip these people into shape in the Senate, the Republicans. If not, there's going to be consequences. And I think it's clear what's implied here is that Trump's going to push for primaries for senators that don't vote for these Doge cuts. So we'll see. We'll see where that leads. But Dan's, regardless of what you think of his politics, I happen to like the vast majority of his political positions. But Dan is a politician that's willing to sit down and talk to regular guys on the street that are his constituents. And that's always the type of politician that I wanted to be if I won my seat. I wanted to be the guy that you can see me at the grocery store and be like, what the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing? And I'd have to be like, fuck you, I'm trying. Here's what we're doing, So I always appreciate talking to Dan. It was a lot of fun. He's very gracious with his time. One negative thing that happened was we did get a freak monsoon type storm. And the guy that was there that set up a bunch of the tech ended up losing a lot of equipment. He estimates he may be $20,000 in the hole. A couple computers that got ruined, touch screens, and LED screens. It just came like nowhere. We were supposed to have like a 10% chance of sprinkles, and all of a sudden we got 15 minutes of a complete downpour. So I feel bad for that guy, and I think they were trying to get together some funds to help reimburse him after, hopefully he has some sort of insurance. So that was a bit of a bummer. Like I said, the president of the NRA was there. Unfortunately, as he was sort of giving his speech, that's when the storm hit and the speakers cut out. So I didn't get to talk to him and didn't hear much from him. guy I ran against for Congress, Joe Peters, was there. Joe's a real interesting guy. He was in like law enforcement that targeted mobs, like the mafia back in the day, and he looks like it, man. Like Joe looks like classic fucking hard-nosed Italian dude, right? And the reason he's worth mentioning, he's not running for any office or anything now, but he's always a very affable guy. And when I ran for Congress and I got to take my mother to the one dinner of the people that were running, I sat at a table with my mother and Joe Peters sat next to us. And my mom thinks he's like the coolest guy in the world. She thinks he's straight out of like, you know, The Godfather or something. So I was like, Joe, my mom always asks about you, so it's nice to run into you. So he's very pleased with that. He's like, well, tell your mom I said hi. So that was interesting. And then I'm trying to think if I'm missing anyone. Stacey Garrity, the county treasurer, or I'm sorry, the Pennsylvania treasurer, GOP treasurer, she was there. She's always fun to talk to, open. She sat around and talked with us at the end. There's probably some other people I'm forgetting, but the big one is my friend who, unlike like Dan Meuser, I don't know, we're acquaintances. I would say Doug McClinko is my friend. Doug's a great guy. He is the Bradford County Commissioner. Doug, what is going on here? Come on, man. Come on. What are you doing, man? Doug is someone I ran against when I ran for Congress in the special election in District 12 there, I think in 2019. Doug was like the other person I ran against, the one that I respected the most. Regular, like he's a dude, like he's almost like he's like me. It's like listening to me, like he's bitching about like, what are we doing? We're fucking this shit up. What are we doing? We got to do this. We got to do that. Like talking policy and shit. And he'll tell you that when he thinks you're wrong, and he, he's a decent guy, man. And the things at his property, him and his wife put it on. His wife Lynette is one of the nicest women you'll ever meet. Just absolute gracious host. Always incredibly kind, always incredibly welcoming. And so I can't speak highly enough of the event that they put on their property, largely cutting into their own dime. And they couldn't be nicer hosts. The whole time you see them, working the room, getting chairs for people, filling up ice, filling up drinks, helping serve food. Really, really, really great people. And Doug, sat around, we talked a lot about sort of the local political landscape there and sort of central PA, what we're thinking about the governor race who's going to run against Josh Shapiro, some of the weaknesses of Josh Shapiro. It's fun. And we are also reminiscing about that, the election we ran for back in the day there. So, I mean, it was a lot of fun. And I always appreciate running into Doug. Also, his kids were there. His one kid and me played how you play paper football? Well, instead of a paper football, we had like a plastic bottle cap, but we were sliding it so you can get to the edge of the table. It was a lot of fun. His kid's very cool. So it was always enjoy going. One other thing I thought was funny was they kept saying there was rumors that Josh Shapiro had like trackers there that were recording things to make sure no one said anything crazy, which no one did. Like, the craziest shit that you're going to hear there is like, and I don't think it's crazy at all, but I understand how people might be like, oh, it's like just people saying things that you would hear anyways, like, God intervened to save Trump's life when he turned his head and that, because tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the Butler assassination attempt. So there was a lot of talk of that. And some of the people that were there were there with Trump that day. Congressman Meuser was there. So there was a lot of talk of that, but that's basically it's just Democrats suck, socialists suck. We got to step up these deportations, and that's about it. So, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I went. Of course, my man Carlos went with me. I spent the night at Carlos's place last night. Carlos is, a political consultant, sort of semi-retired at this point, but Carlos is that dude. Like, there's me. Everyone like me needs a Carlos. I'm some fucking redneck. I have political opinions. I like to yell online. But I don't know anyone. I don't know any politician, nothing. I know Carlos. And Carlos knows every politician. Everyone. He knows the county chair of the Republican Party in Lycoming and in Wayne County and in Lucerne. And he knows that's the treasurer over in Bradford. And he knows, like, everyone. He knows everyone's name. He knows all about them. He's had dinner with all of them. They all know him. They all come up and shake his hand. And then he introduces me to them. So that's how I've got to know these people. Everyone in this area that I've gotten to know is through Carlos. And Carlos, like me, is a bullshitter. We're both bullshitters. We're both talkers, but everybody knows he'd do anything for you. If he likes you, he'd go to bat for you. He'd do anything for you. And he's also the type of guy that'll say, hey, I think you're fucking up. What are you doing? But he'd also do anything for you. So people respect that. And you got people coming up, and they're coming over to make sure they say hi to Carlos. And so I always enjoy hanging out with Carlos. Of course, we were up late last night, shooting the shit anyways at his house. He generously let me stay at his house in Williamsport. So actually, the event wasn't in Williamsport. It was in Wysox, but I'm leaving Williamsport to home. Is there? I think I have probably about an hour and 15 minutes left. Well, wait, no, maybe more than that. Probably closer to 2 hours left. Hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, something like that. Looks like I got 100 miles left to go. So I'm still with you. I don't know if you're with me, but that's okay. Now, if you are still with me, why are you not donating? What the hell is your problem? And if you have donated, really only that amount? Yes, you that gave some amount of money. Shouldn't you have given more money? You want Austin Hall to win? Thanks to the great Amagad, who was apparently in my stream. My wife tells me this. When yesterday in the car ride out, who donated $357 like immediately. So that prick Austin Hall did not win, despite my prediction that he would win Friday and Saturday. So since we already didn't leave him win Friday, it would be swell if we can get enough donations to not leave him win today. Tomorrow we'll be back to your regular scheduled stream. We'll be going at 10 p.m. Eastern. You'll get to see my beautiful face. We'll talk about politics. Maybe we'll talk about something about what I'm ranting about in the car here now, but maybe not. By the way, I'm enjoying my own ranting. I don't know if you're enjoying it. I don't even know if you guys can hear me, but it's helping keep me awake, which is important. So even if I get home and my wife's like, yeah, your stream cut off 2 minutes in, it's keeping me awake. So I appreciate that. Even if you're not listening, the hypothetical you. And even if you're not listening, maybe you're just feeling something right now, like, I felt a weird feeling there. That feeling is send money to Rob Knorr. You can go to my Cash App at $Rob Knorr or my PayPal at Robert Knorr. So even if you're not listening to this, I'm putting it out in the ether, and if you're feeling something weird, maybe you'll go back and watch this stream later, and you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's what that feeling was. I'm supposed to send money to Rob. Great. Awesome. All right. We're cracking the Celsius, boys. I got if I can find the damn tab, a cherry cola Celsius. I don't know that I've ever had one. What's going on here? PC load letter? What the fuck does that mean? There's a lot of road work. I mean, it's night, so obviously they're not working as we speak, but ton of cones set up everywhere and merge left, merge right. Come on, Interstate 80, do better. All right. There we go. Hard to open the can with one hand. But we got her. We're no Andrew Wilson, failing to open containers. We get that shit. We rock that shit in this house or this car. Me pissing around. Speaking of Andrew, how did his show go yesterday? A lot of debating. I did call in around 8:30 or so to kind of heckle Andrew a little on his show. I believe it was for 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. I didn't get to say much because my damn lapel mic wasn't working and the phone mic sucks and it's a big mess. So I tried to get my jabs in, but in all seriousness, I think I imparted this, and I think Andrew heard couldn't happen to a nicer or more deserving guy. As far as I'm concerned, Andrew deserves millions of subs, and I'm glad that he took a chance on himself, started his own brand, and and he's doing so phenomenally. And I'm glad that he took a chance on me, hiring me to work at the Crucible. And I just couldn't be happier with the whole situation from the bottom of my heart. He's always been very kind to me. I've said that for years. I would be willing to help him out and not being an employee. In fact, he knows that, I think. And so, regardless, I know some people in my audience don't like Andrew. That's fucking fine. No problem. But he's been kind to me. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's a great debater. I think he's a genuine guy. I think he's doing a lot of good. And I think that I'm very happy for his success and his family's success. And I hope that it continues tenfold. I really do. And I think that Andrew has the potential to be a guy that really starts to have influence, not just on culture, which I think you already see happening to some degree, but also on politics, which brings me to my next topic of conversation. I mentioned this yesterday, but I would like to see, I'm trying to merge the online shit with like the real world stuff. Say what you want about shithead groups like Progressive Victory PAC. I mean, they're right to be working with politicians and streamers and trying to combine those two. I think that the Crucible is getting comfortable and is going to be well suited to start doing real political events, not just debates, not just meetups, not just, that shit's all important. And in many senses, maybe more important. But why can't we be at Republican events and setting booths up? Why can't we have people there that are talking, I'm not Orthodox, but why can't we have people there talking about becoming Orthodox, helping people find their nearest Orthodox church? Because here's the thing, right? If you don't put your foot in the door in these behind the scenes things where you're getting to know politicians, then it makes it far more difficult to influence them. Once you're connected, once you're bringing in an audience, once you're bringing in eyeballs and influence, now your voice has more weight behind it when you say, what are you guys doing with this? When are the deportations coming? Now, I'm not suggesting that, we're a year or two away from Andrew Wilson calling up President Trump and saying, hey, man, what the fuck are you doing? You got to reverse course on this shit. But there's some slight influence that could be had that could snowball. And even more realistically, when it comes to smaller level politicians, maybe even members of the House of Representatives, it's no joke having a network like the Crucible where you can have 10,000 live viewers and it's not big. I mean, their Rumble shows are getting 15,000 live viewers. That's more than most fucking cable news shows are going. The overall views, I mean, not the live stream. So I think, I'm happy being the canary in the coal mine. Showing up to Republican events, yeah, so far just in Pennsylvania, but I'll happily travel wherever now that I have the time to do it. Let's do it. The truth is, you look at the people connected to the Crucible, or even outside that scope, just right-wing streamers, at least the ones I've dealt with. I think most of us are fun people. There's a reason. And I don't brag about myself a lot. Well, maybe that's a lie. But I am likable. When I go to these events, people like coming up and talking to me, even if I'm disagreeing with them, because I'm having fun. That's contagious. That gets people interested in what you're talking about. Jim Bob's a likable guy. Andrew's a likable guy. Mr. E, okay, no one likes Mr. E, but hell, no one even knows what he looks like, so we'll forgive him. But, I mean, you look at even, like, people like EOD's likable. Lower class is likable, right? Abe Dinkus is likable. We might not have 10,000 people watching us, but everybody's got to start somewhere. And I think if you're out there listening, I don't know if anyone is again, but I think as a chat, I think that that's something that, for me, even if I'm not a streamer, as a fan of different channels, I want them to be tapped in and connected to real politicians. I want that. Because that's one step closer to me being tapped in. And my voice being heard. So, I think that it's important. And I will be pushing for this. I think that we should offer to help out. And I'm not speaking for Andrew or the Crucible. I'm not saying that. I mean the royal we. Like we, the types of people that are listening to this show. Me, other streamers. We should be offering to be helpful. You guys need help setting up for that thing? We'd be happy to come set up a booth. Sure, no problem. This has nothing to do with politics, but it's something that I learned a long time ago. I always try to make myself useful at an event like that. Let me help set up chairs. Let me help throw away garbage. Oh, someone's going to run out and grab those napkins? I'll grab them. No problem. I think those little actions sometimes could catch someone's eye that otherwise wouldn't have been listening. And they're like, yeah, look at that. There's a guy's trying. And so I'm a firm believer within my means of doing things to try to help out. And maybe then that leads to something in the future. Now, I'm not saying I'm helping like, oh, I'm expecting to get something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying life has a way of doing that. If you're the type of guy that gets invited to a party or a wedding and you stay after and you help clean up, people recognize that stuff. It's important. And so I always try to do that at these events where Carlos and me are almost always the last two people to leave. I try to go around at the end of the night and throw away all the garbage I see on the ground and anything else I could do. And I even joked to some of the politicians that were still there. I was like, yeah, I feel like I've ran out of good political ideas. So I'm just trying to be useful, pretending like I'm doing something, throwing away garbage. And they're all laughing, But people still remember me from when I ran for Congress. They still remember the speech I gave where I had them all laughing and they gave me a standing ovation. And I think what it is, the more I think about it, it's not that I said anything profound. I think that it was just honest. I think that it resonates when you say, like, listen, man, these blue-collar workers, these fucking people that you represent are, in my opinion, the greatest people in the world. And we don't want to fucking be politicians. And we're okay that we're not rich. We're okay with that. Okay? But you know what we're not okay with? Sending people to Washington, or in our case, to Harrisburg, which is the state capital, if you didn't know, Pennsylvania. And then these people that claim to represent us forgetting about us. And fuck that, man. Because there are people like me out there. I might be some dumb redneck, but I could fucking talk your ear off. I could be a politician if I want. I don't want to be. I don't. I want to make millions of dollars driving down the road, doing streams that no one's listening to on my new lapel mic. That's what I want. I want to buy an RV and travel the country with my beautiful wife and my kid. That's what I want. I don't want to fucking hang around in D.C. with politicians. But if I have to, I will. So if you don't want people like me to enter our hat into the ring, why don't you actually govern in a way that gives a shit about us people? And it resonates with people because they feel that. Yeah, exactly. those are the stories I remember. When you see people that are authentic, you can tell. I mean, you can't always tell, but I think I'm a pretty good judge. I can tell when someone's a politician because it's a career path. And then when someone's a politician because it's like, you know what? I actually really want to do this. I want to help out. So I would love to see, when I see people that I think are like real people, like the people I stream with. Again, I know I'm a homer. I'm fucking talking up Andrew Wilson and the Crucible and stuff, but there's a lot of people too, like on that debate club, people I've got to meet through the Crucible's, voice chat and like doing the debate club and stuff like that with the Crucible. They're real fucking people, man. Real people that are smart, that have opinions, right? Those people getting involved with politics can't be a bad thing. It can't be. I want my politicians listening to people like that. So if I could help facilitate that by going to events like this and getting connections with honest to goodness senators and representatives and judges and governors, then that's what I'm going to do. Until it becomes cost prohibitive. So I hope that this is the first of many. Me as a Crucible employee going to, now I wasn't sent here as an employee of the Crucible or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But when I say as a Crucible employee, what I really mean is now that I do this stuff as a full-time job. Because it was, I got to an event here or there when I could. Good weekends. So, and this is a little different. We don't want to the press there, but hopefully in future, we'll be sharing here soon, either on my X account with most of these people that I met. Because I was telling like some of the congressmen, I'm like, can I take a picture with you? Because I think that my wife and my audience thinks that I'm just at a bar somewhere, like getting shit-faced, like, hey guys, I'm hanging out with politicians there, So I'm like, no, I'm actually doing it. So, and I put a collared shirt on and some like navy blue shorts, khaki type shorts, just to look good. I did wear my shitty pirate hat though, but it's we're closer to Philly's country out here. So I was getting a lot of shit. But that was fun. It was. But I'd be lying if I said I don't miss home. I'm an old man. I like my wife. I like my son. That's good enough for me. I don't know. It's fun to go do the politics stuff, but I'm glad I'm getting to drive home here tonight. And even though Hank will be sleeping, it'll be nice to see him. And my wife will be sleeping too. It'll be nice to see her. But I haven't drugged her out to any of these events. Someday I'll drag her out to something. And she'll be like, eh. But I think some of these people think I made up my wife. Because I'm always talking about her. They're like, never saw her. She did come with me to the conferee thing when I ran for Congress, I guess. She was there. And she came to all of I guess she basically came to everything when I was running for Congress. But since then, she's like, I'm out. So what else is going on in the world? I don't know. That was my trip. It's fun. What's the game plan for tomorrow here? Well, I don't know. We'll look at some news stories and see what I can come up with. Hopefully something will break that I can talk about. More stupid ass Epstein stuff, I guess. I don't know. Jesus. Now here I am. I'm getting pissed off again just thinking about it. God, it's so infuriating. Like, just say nothing. That's better than what's happening. What the fuck are you doing? Oh. But we've already yelled about that. We were talking about Josh Shapiro. Now, He's the governor here at PA. Now, even if you don't know that, you may have heard Josh Shapiro's name be bandied around, like Bashir, Shapiro, potential VP running mates for Kamala, and now potential presidential candidates. Of course, Newsom, probably the favorite, Buttigieg. Shapiro's got to be on that list as potential picks. And Shapiro's strength is he'll be seen as more of a moderate. And I think that the attack on Josh Shapiro, I mean, maybe I'm biased, but I think I got a good finger on the pulse of what people care about. Even though I talk about shit that I know people don't care about as much, like FBI corruption all the time. I think the attack on Josh Shapiro for whoever is the Republican candidate has to be COVID. Josh Shapiro was the attorney general in Pennsylvania when COVID hit, and it was him that was most responsible for the draconian lockdown orders telling people that they were non-essential and they could not go to work and they could not go visit their families. That needs to be the attack on Josh Shapiro. I don't know about you, but I haven't forgotten. If the attack on Josh Shapiro is instead something like, well, you know, Israel-Palestine, or, well, you know, he's slightly against fracking, I don't know that it's going to be effective, particularly here in Pennsylvania. Because truth be told, Pennsylvania's doing okay so far. And I think a lot of what happens is you're in Pennsylvania, you're a centrist, you lean Democrat or you lean Republican, and you look at Josh Shapiro, and the state's doing good. I don't think because of him. I don't even want to say good. The state's doing okay, despite him, in my belief. But of him, you also look at him and you say, well, he's not AOC, he's not Mamdani, he's not Kamala, he's not Nancy Pelosi. He seems more like a regular dude. So why rock the boat? Let's go with him again. And I think that's a lot of the perception here. And so if you tie him back to the shit that he did during the pandemic and say, look, the next, yeah, it's easy thanks to sort of, you know, President Trump's economy doing well and, you know, all this shit, Pennsylvania looks like it's doing well, and it's easy to look like a good governor when things are going well. But when the chips are down, where was Josh Shapiro? Where was he? Telling you were a piece of shit that was non-essential. Well, his governor was out violating the very orders that Josh Shapiro was enforcing. Fuck him. I'll never forgive him. That should be the attack. There's also a good attack about school choice. He promised, because school choice is actually a big issue here, particularly in like the cities. It's a big issue for a lot of black folks in the inner city. And Josh Shapiro swore up and down, he promised school choice. Well, where's that? Once he got into office and the teachers' unions got on him, that went right out the window. So I think that's a fair attack as well. And then who knows where we'll be by the time that election rolls around. In 2026, I believe. But it's interesting. People are looking ahead to that in an event like this. So we don't know who the Republican candidate will be. I don't think I'm spilling any tea to say that one of the favorites is Stacey Garrity, the treasurer, who I was bullshitting to today. I think that I will say that Congressman Meuser, who was also there today, was someone who was being talked about, and he nipped that in the bud and said he will not be running for governor. So So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see who runs for that seat. I'll tell you another person it's not going to be me. I'm not running for governor. So there. We've already narrowed that out. There's 2 people out. Pretty sure my buddy Carlos isn't running. There. That's 3 out. So we're narrowing it down. We'll get it figured out. We'll get this shit figured out. Fan of the show that you guys see sometime on here. Rarely lately, but Zygmunt, my friend Zygmunt. I used to see him at the rally every year, and he said he may attend this year. And if he did, I'm sorry to say I did not run into Zygmunt. So, what are you doing, Zygmunt? It would have been nice to run into you and shoot the breeze. So, missed out that opportunity. That would always be fun. It's always nice to run into people you know. There were a couple folks there. Friend of the show, Don McClure, Perry County Commissioner, I believe. Though I might have the county wrong. He couldn't make it. He had wanted to be there, but had some minor surgery recently. I think he was unable to attend, if I remember. This is what I was told. So that was a bummer. Don's always fun to hang out with. But it's neat. You guys should try. You should try to, presumably if you're listening, you're at least more aligned with Republicans and Democrats. Try to go, man. Try to go to your county Republican meeting. Go to an event. Just try. I'm not like this event today. They had Civil War reenactors. They have a gun range. They have cannons. You take wagon rides. They had horse and carriage rides you could take. They had food there. I always enjoy it. I think that the narrative that's like everybody's super stuffy and unpersonable. I mean, there's a truth to that to some level of politics. But most of the people that are going to an event like that are like sort of like normal people. And you'd be surprised. You'd be like, oh, it's all a bunch of fucking 60-year-old white people. No. There's definitely a disproportionate amount of older people, probably over the age of 50. But there are people from all over the place. There are a bunch of people there that are legal immigrants. Bikers for Trump were there, right? A bunch of, like the NRA head was there. A bunch of Second Amendment judges were there. Pick their brain. And there's a decent amount of young people there as well. So it might be something that you'd be interested in, and you never know. You might be good at it. Maybe you start going there and they ask you like, hey, how would you like to be like county treasurer? And then next thing you know, 4 years from now, you're running for state office and you can actually make a political difference. You don't know. It's possible. I will say, though, if I'm being totally honest, that one of the things that has been confirmed to me through this whole process, particularly starting when I ran for Congress, is much like everything in life, a lot of it's who you know. And that displeases me. I was talking to people here today about this concept, and I was like, it's very similar to debate. I've told this story about me debating in college before, but I had long hair, beard down to like my chest. I used to wear first 2 days of a debate tournament or like the regular rounds, you had to sort of wear a button down, dress up reasonably. But day 3, if you made it to the elimination rounds, our coach's rule was you could wear whatever you want. I used to wear like Slayer t-shirts, Hate Breed, just sort of a prick about it. And I'll be lying if I said part of it was, what part of it was I'd be lying if I said it wasn't part that I like to stick it to all these stuffy people. Oh, you're from Harvard, suit and tie wearing motherfucker. You just lost to a fat guy with a fucking long hair and a beard that listens to Slayer. How's that treating you? I love that shit. I did. And then one day when I started to get better and I started to advance, and then it gets harder and harder. The higher the ranks you go, the harder it gets. By the time you're at the top level of debates and you're going to like national tournaments, there are no easy rounds. Like, these people are fucking smart. Most of them smarter than me. So you need every advantage you can get then. It's not like you could just outclass people. And, my coach sent me down and was like, look, man, you'd win more rounds if you shaved, look presentable, wear some decent clothes, cut your fucking hair. I said, no. He said, just try it. And he was right. And it pissed me off to no end. Because to me, debate was like the best idea wins. It don't matter what I look like. It don't matter where I come from. It don't matter that I'm fucking some poor redneck. It don't matter that I go to Clarion University. What matters is the best idea wins. That's what matters. That's how I always thought of it. And that's total bullshit. That could not be further from the truth. Yeah, 50% or more, maybe more than 50 is who's making the better argument. But who you know, the stylistic type of argument you make, how you look, all that shit matters. It all does. Little things mattered. Like my coach told me one time, you need to start arguing after you lose a round. Argue. I said, why? Why would I fucking argue? What's the point? The round's over. We had a reputation, me and my partner. My partner, super nice dude, man. Crazy lefty. He's a crazy lefty. But a super nice guy. He's a Buddhist, sort of a pacifist. And he's super, like, to him, he didn't even care about winning or losing. I cared, but he didn't care. And we had a reputation as, like, a super nice team. If we lost, we'd be like, hey, do you got any advice for us to get better? Thank you so much. And our coach was like, look, man, if it's a close round and the judge is struggling on who to vote for, and he knows you guys are going to be like, thank you so much for your time, and he knows your opponents are going to fucking yell at him for an hour and a half and scream at him, maybe he votes for them because he's like, well, I don't feel like having to defend my argument here. It's a decision for the judge, so I'll go take the easy way out. He's like, you need to be that guy. You need to be sitting there like, wait a minute, what about this? I think you're wrong about this. Force them to defend their decision. Don't be a dick, but force them. No, you want them to know if they vote against you and you truly believe you won, that you're going to be like, no, you're going to have to explain this. And he was right about that. Now that sucks to me because I had this romanticized vision of debate. That it was just the best argument always wins. That's it. If I'm better than you and my argument's better, I win. Shouldn't matter if I fucking wear a Slayer t-shirt, but it does. And it's the same with politics. Yes, deep down I knew when I ran for Congress, deep down, you know, this shit's crooked, right? It's about who you know. But you're like, I don't know, maybe not. I'll run. Let's see what happens. And as I'm running, people are being very nice to me. I'm like, And I think I'm doing great. And I was doing great. I really was. But then the shit that you see when it comes down to the end, at how the voting went down and shit, it's a fucking joke. It was, I could do a whole show on it. It's I've talked about it before years ago, but it's one of the most like cartoonishly, like fucking laughably corrupt things I've ever been part of. Like right out of the gate, the dude that was the favorite to win, right, stands up and gets to give a speech, which I thought was bullshit right out of the gate. Why does one of the 24 people that are running get to give a speech before votes are tallied? That sounds like bullshit to me. Well, the reason he got to do it was he was dropping out because there were allegations that this guy was abusive to his ex-wife and to her son, and holy shit, it was a Jerry Springer episode. And this guy brought his whole family on stage to vouch for him as a good man. And he was begrudgingly jumping out because people made it personal. Oh my God. And then, it's like the old, everybody got the vapors. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Who's going to vote for who now? And the whole thing was a fucking shit show. And people were jockeying for position. And you would think it's just, okay, there's 220 conferees that cast their ballot. And they're all going to cast for who they think's the best and let the chips fall where they may. No! There are politicians there from other spaces that are putting their thumb on the scale and browbeating people and making promises to people. And, if your people vote for my people, then there'll be a spot in the administration and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like, here am I. I don't have connections to anyone. I'm there with my man, Tom, my campaign manager, and my wife. And we're just sitting there like, what the fuck? What is going on? And it was cartoonish. I later found out that I wasn't invited to like 2/3 of the events because they didn't want me around because they felt that I was outside the district and hadn't paid my dues. And the conferees were picked in many cases by the candidates themselves. So imagine that your county gets to pick like 10 conferees that are going to vote for who the eventual GOP candidate will be. So how do you pick the conferees? Well, imagine that the candidate from that county picked the conferees himself, which is what happened in many of these counties. So then, who do you think those conferees are going to vote for? Maybe the guy who just picked them? I vote for you to be conferee, and then you vote for me to be the rep. How fucking shady is that? But that's the shit that was going on. And it's just like, after the whole experience, and the more every time I come to an event, I hear another story. Well, did you know this happened? No. And it's fucking comical how shady the whole thing was. It's fucking ridiculous. By the way, My man who put on this event here, Doug McClinko, he got screwed over the most for ways I won't get into. But I assure you, man, there was a concerted effort to keep Doug out of office because he primaried the previous office holder. He was the only one of us that were running that ever ran in a primary for that very seat. So, they don't like that. You got to wait your turn. So Doug was punished through backroom deals. By all accounts, he was the top vote getter after the first round of voting. And probably should have been the runaway favorite, given his track record, his successes he's had, and sort of his politics. He was directly aligned with Trump, went to bat for Trump early and often, probably more than any other person that was running. Didn't matter. So it's weird. On one hand, you see these regular people that go to these events, and you're like, yeah, it's a fucking normal person. Like, this is the type of person that you'd see at your, at your kid's Little League game or at the fucking bar watching, the Steelers or some shit, And most of the politicians you meet are cool. They are. That doesn't mean they're voting in the best way. That doesn't mean that they're not fucking beholden to lobbyists and shit. I don't know. They're personable. You're talking to them. I'm asking questions. And I'm never super easy. I always try to be pointed. Hey, what's up with this shit? When are we going to get around to fucking talking about the 2020 election, huh? How about that? Yeah, I know. You're like, I wasn't pushing hard in the Epstein shit because, what do you expect some congressman to say? But I did push on other stuff. But I'm happy I ran for that office. I mean, it cost me a shitload of money. I spent between $7,000 and $9,000 on it. And I was Mr. Oh, I'm fucking principled. I'm not going to take any money from anyone. I'm not going to take any donations. Yeah, next time I'm taking donations. If quitting my job to stream has taught me one thing, it's that there's no shame in the grift. So next time if I run for Congress again, I assure you I'll take donations. It's not fair to my wife either. I basically spent between $7,000 and $9,000 on a passion project that I basically had no chance of winning. So, yay. But thanks to my wife for putting up with my dumb ass. Because I'm principled. Yay. I wonder if anyone's still listening to me. If you're still listening to me, time for an obscene profit break. What's going on? Who's it going to be? Someone right now is going to donate money. Who's it going to be? Let's see. Well, did Jess Gerald donate any gifted memberships tonight? If not, what are you doing, Jess Gerald? Slacking off, right? Or how about, did Naughty Germ donate $5 at the beginning of the stream? He's always the first person to donate. Hopefully he donated $5 at the beginning of the stream. Let's see. Who else do we have? Did Jess White pop in and donate any money? What are you doing, Jess? It's probably early for her. How about Amagad? Yes, you did donate $357 yesterday, but what have you done for me lately? Did you donate $357 today? We don't know. How about the great William Gramer Jr.? Did you donate another $2,000 tonight? We don't know. Hopefully. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Chad of the Week, Sarcastic Saint. Congrats to Sarcastic Saint for winning the weekly Griftathon. Chad of the Week. Maybe he's thrown some money to comment about how I have hairy arms and need to wax them or something to that effect. And all of you whose name I didn't say, what are you doing? Are you donating? We hope. Did Sarah Tomato and Andrew Wilson squeeze everyone dry on their 12-hour stream yesterday? Everybody's broke now. Sarah and Andrew don't need your money. What? They're probably sipping champagne right now. Andrew's probably smoking I don't know, what's an expensive cigarette? Cloves? I don't know. I don't know enough about cigarettes to know. Is Marlboro just the most expensive? I don't know. That's another thing, man. I look like a puss. So I'm sitting around with a biker for Trump guy and like all these Congress people and shit, you know. And everybody, you know, big portion of the crew starts lighting up cigars. Not this asthmatic fuck. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So there I am looking like more of a puss. Everybody's smoking some cigars. There's me. I don't need no cigar to look cool. I'm cool enough. Also, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't mind smokers, and I don't mind people that smoke cigars. But, you know, I think it's a little, you know, pursing your lips and putting something between your lips. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Teach their own, but I don't know if that's behavior I associate with masculinity. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. I was talking to the biker Trump dude, and I was like, you know what's funny? I was like, because he was telling us, he's like, and I believe this. He's like, dude, we basically have an open invitation anytime that Trump's in Pennsylvania to fucking roll in. And like, it don't matter if it's a rally or something. We could show up an hour late. Trump's like, let those people in. He's like, you see all these rallies in Pennsylvania, you'll always see the Bikers for Trump in the screen. And I was like, yeah, it's good, you know, good for you guys, one, but it's good optics. Why are men leaving the Democratic Party? Well, here's one reason, because the men in the Democratic Party identify as women, and the men in the Republican Party and Trump are dudes like Bikers for Trump. That might be a good reason. You know? It's cool, though. Those guys are cool as shit, the biker guys. What else? What else do I have to talk about? Just hearing more about Penn State football than I know what to do with. A lot of Penn State football fans there and season ticket holders. Not big fans of James Franklin winning the big one. I don't know shit all about it. I'm like, oh, okay, sounds good. Doug's always so generous, man. The guy that puts on the show that I was talking about, Doug McClinko. Oh, by the way, here's another thing you might appreciate Doug McClinko for. He was one of the people that filed the lawsuit, that was a co-signer to the lawsuit that actually, in the Superior Court of Pennsylvania, I believe the Superior Court, ruled that mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania were illegal in the way they were implemented in the 2020 election. Of course, the super left-leaning Pennsylvania Supreme Court actually overruled that, which is all the more reason to get out there if you're in Pennsylvania and vote in this upcoming election in November, because one of the things you need to vote on is to not retain the 3 Democrat Supreme Court judges in Pennsylvania so that we can try to vote them out in 2027. Otherwise, we're stuck with them until 2035. So, but yeah, Doug was one of the dudes that's, spearheaded that campaign, that lawsuit. Oh, what is this guy doing? Come on, man. Get out of the way. If you're going to slow down. You know, I'm trying to be leisurely. I don't have to go super fast, but come on, dude. You pass me and then you start going 60 mile an hour in the interstate? What are you doing? Now I got to pass you. I feel like this is how that movie Joyride or Hitcher started, you know? All right, let's pass him up here. Man, I've been going in a leisurely pace here, you know? Right at the speed limit. Set the old cruise control right at the speed limit. That's my game. My wife hates my overuse of cruise control, but I don't know, it makes me feel like a big man. I'm so lazy, I don't even have to hit the gas. Let the cruise handle it, you know? Bam. We're back. We're cruising again. Nice. No cars in front. Love it. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Doug. Yeah, good guy. Enjoying my Celsius. This property's beautiful, man. I always had a dream. I wanted to live on the top of, like, you know, I don't know how familiar you are with, like, rural Pennsylvania, but, like, I say hills. I guess technically, like, the Appalachian Mountains. Whatever. It's not like the Rockies, like, going up into the clouds or shit. But man, some of the hills here are beautiful. And I always wanted to like build a house on top of like a hillside where I had a view where I could just see like the rolling hills, like all the forest. And man, Doug's house is just absolutely gorgeous, man. You can see for probably 5 miles of just peaks and valleys of like forested hills and mountains. It's fucking awesome, man. I'd take that over an ocean view any day of the week. I absolutely love Pennsylvania. I think it's so beautiful if you get into like the wooded areas of it. It's tremendous. Every time I'm there, I just spend like 10 minutes looking out over it. Like, damn, what a nice view, man. Wake up every morning and see that as your view. Doug's doing it right, man. He's got a great family, great house, great view. And good guy, man. Not that my view is anything to sneeze at. The neighbor across the road's got some cows. I like going out in the front porch and staring at the cows. That's always fun. And then after the field, so the cows aren't directly across me. They're more like diagonal to the right. I'll show you someday. I'll take out the old cam. We'll take the Smitty Spider shaky cam out and show you around. But right across me is a field, but maybe 200 yards of field, and then you got a nice tree line. And I think it's pretty. I like it. But you do have like I don't want to say a major road, but a road, right there. So it's like, Big Hank's got a T-ball game Tuesday and Thursday. He's 2 left. Now, he missed a bunch because of rain. So they rained out like 3 of their games. So there's talk of maybe extending the season another week and having a makeup game or 2. But I don't know that it's going to happen because, people, especially some younger kids, they're in different activities. So, I know gymnastics is sometimes butting into it and things of that nature. So this may be the last week for Hank's T-ball season, Tuesday, Thursday. We got his pictures back. He, refused to smile. He almost looks like he has a rip in, like a chaw in, man. He's got, a serious look. It's pretty cool. It's like a little smirk, but a serious look. He looks like a 1980s, Oakland A's player with fucking a big rip of chewing I was always a Pirates fan, but my second favorite team I was a big fan of the Kirby Puckett Minnesota Twins back in the day. And every one of those players used to have chew spit down their jersey. It was fucking awesome. But that A's team was cool too, right? With Canseco and McGuire and everybody roided out of their mind. It was good stuff. But the Pirates were always my team. We couldn't afford roids. Though I don't know if you knew this. There was a big, crack allegations, coke and crack in the 80s with the Pirates team. Big drug allegations. It's like, come on, man. If you're going to do drugs as a baseball team, do steroids, hit home runs, What are you doing uppers for? Come on. Though, again, as my T-shirt says, back in the 70s, Doc Ellis did pitch a no-hitter on acid. So, I guess maybe different narcotics affect everyone in different ways. I don't know. Not that I'm advocating use. Now, I'm currently passing the highest point on Interstate 80 east of the Mississippi, elevation 2,250 feet, right outside Penfield, Pennsylvania. I'm quite familiar with this spot. I've passed it many times in my life. Your ears pop almost, at least mine do, almost every time I'm here. 2,250. I wonder if that's higher than where most of you live. Probably. But if you're out towards Colorado or something, this probably seems like a joke. But hey, around these parts, 2,250, something to be proud of, damn it. I'll soon to be leaving the Chesapeake area watershed, Chesapeake Bay watershed. It's unfortunate. It's always nice to be in the watershed here. They have a big sign. That's why I say it. Near my house, there is a sign that's a meter with an arrow, and it is the fire risk of the forest that particular day, and it ranges from very low to very high. And I guess it's someone's job to drive out and move that arrow, but that's the job I want. I like to think that that's that person's only job. I hope they're getting $120,000 a year, and their whole job is they wake up at 6 a.m., check the weather, then drive to that sign and move the arrow, and that's that. Money well spent. I mean, our government spends money on dumber shit, so, you know. But that's my dream job, just moving the arrow. I can do it. Then, of course, if I got that job and that was all of it, I'd bitch. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't feel like going to work today. And my wife would be like, dude, it's 5 minutes. You're just going to drive and move the arrow. I don't know. I feel like I need time off. That's how I am. So, I'm not a big fan of driving the interstate most of the time, right? Like, I like to drive around with my family on like back roads and stuff. That's my favorite. And like when I traveled with this band, we went from Rochester to New Orleans, and we did not take any mile of interstate. Every road we took was like a non-interstate highway, like back towns, like small roads. Loved it, right? But at night when you can't really see anything and you're trying to get home, the interstate's just fine. So I happen to live near the interstate. Like I'm like 10 minutes off of it. So you feel like once you get on Interstate 80, it's like, well, that's it. Now I know where I'm going. I'm basically home now. Now Interstate 80 basically goes the whole way across the country. So you could be on Interstate 80 and you're certainly not barely home. You could be 8 hours away. But it always feels that way. It's like, oh, that's it. Hard part's done. Now we just cruise the interstate. So I think I have 47 miles to go in my adventure here. So probably be getting home around midnight, maybe a little after, 12:15 maybe. Depends. But it's been a good ride so far with you guys, or not you guys if I'm not streaming. I don't know. But I feel like it's been good. I'm operating under the assumption that I'm I think I'm back. Believe it or not, I glanced at my phone and it looked like I wasn't streaming. So I don't know how long I was off, but I re-entered the studio and assumed my wife would at some point, if it let me back in the backstage, would put me on. So I think I'm back. So maybe you guys haven't heard the past hour or so of me rambling. If so, it was some of the best rambling you could imagine. I mean, it was real gold. I solved all the problems. I solved this whole Epstein debacle with Trump. Everything's finished. So great. But that's for another time. I don't want to repeat myself. So anyways, now that I'm back, I guess I should say you guys should donate money. Wow. Thank you to Mrs. Knorr, Mrs. Courtney Knorr, for re-entering me into the studio. I appreciate it. You're the best. You're better than I deserve. And I deserve a lot. So, that's pretty good. But thank you, Courtney. And thank you to everyone who's still here through this weird, shitty stream and helping me get through the night. I can see that I am streaming now. I can glance because I no longer have to have the GPS up. So I'm not looking at the phone, but I can glance periodically. So now I took the GPS off because, I'm on the interstate. I know where I'm at. So now I'm passing this town called Du Bois. And Du Bois is famous for one thing. And that's that it's the closest town to me with the Long John Silvers, which I happen to love. And unfortunately, they got rid of the Long John Silvers. So now there ain't shit in Du Bois. It kind of upsets me if you haven't noticed. I'm also a big fan of KFC, and there's not one within 50 minutes of me. Also, we get burger joints. We got 2 McDonald's, a Burger King, a Wendy's. We don't have Chick-fil-A. We got 2 Subways, but who gives a shit? No KFC? Ridiculous. In this town, Clarion, the closest town to me, used to have a KFC and a Long John Silvers. But now, the college kids didn't like it, so they moved them and put in a new fucking Burger King. It's very upsetting. The whole operation's upsetting to me. But, such is the life of a big fat guy. My wife said that I was streaming as I was lost in Williamsport there, so I'm sure that was fun entertainment, watching me bungle away in Williamsport. Turns out I took one exit earlier than I should have, I believe. So I was about 2 miles away from my friend's house as I was bumbling around looking for something that I recognized. But we got her. We got her done. Now, I will say, as I get closer to my house, we're probably 30 minutes away. So when I'm about 3 minutes away from my house, I'm going to wrap up because if you watched on the way out here, there's a dip where I'm going to lose you. And it hardly will seem relevant to come back on for like 2 minutes and be like, okay, I'm home. Now I'm done. So I'll probably just wrap up when I get off the exit is the plan. Now, the stream may still going because it may require me going upstairs. In fact, wife, if you're listening, don't shut the stream off. Fuck it. I'll stay on as long as it shuts me up. And then I'll come on to stream on my actual computer camera. Wow. And computer microphone and wish everyone a good night. Like, Doug McClinko's son was saying to me, he's like, yeah, I see you like once a year because I show up to the thing once a year. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of like a less fun Santa Claus. Like, I'm not bringing gifts and shit, but I'm there once a year. I just come and eat your food and play paper football with you. That's not the worst. It could be worse. So, really is, think about it. This Epstein shit sucks. I'm still pissed. I will proceed to be pissed for a long time over it. But, I can't get over how lucky I am. My job is basically sitting on my ass now. You guys are so generous to me that I'm, as of now, making more with this combined with my Crucible job than I was when I was doing my old job, busting my ass 90 hours a week. I have a wonderful family. It almost doesn't seem fair. You got a lot of prayers at a thing like this. You invocation, you pray, pray before you eat. And I don't think I know how to pray. I don't know how other people do it. I kind of just talk in my head to God. And all I could come up with today was like, I started to feel bad. That I feel like every time I pray, I'm asking for something. Like, imagine that. Imagine that your neighbor's just, every time he talks, he's like, hey, man, can you do something for me? Hey, I was wondering, could you lend me your car? Sure, man. Hey, the next time they see you, hey, man, I was wondering, can I borrow your lawnmower? Sure, man. Hey, I was wondering, can you feed and water my dogs this weekend? Like, at some point when you be like, I don't know, man, this guy seems a bit selfish. All he's ever doing is ask. He never bothers to just say, hey, man, what's up? How you doing? Or, hey, man, thanks. That's sort of how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I'm pretty much the luckiest person alive. And yet still, I'm constantly asking for shit. Still, it's not good form. It really isn't. I get heated and worked up. It is. It don't matter. In your day-to-day life, it don't matter how good shit's going. In your day-to-day life, you're going to be like, shit, I got this going on. Oh, man, geez. I wish I had this. I wish, and then, I don't know. We, getting late at night, driving down the interstate. These damn Jersey barriers. See, here I go. I might be lucky, but I hate these damn Jersey barriers. Man, they narrow the road. It feels like my father-in-law drives oversized loads through these things. Somehow he could fit that thing. And I feel like in the little Subaru Forester here, I'm like, ooh, almost hitting the side. Like, man. But anyways, I was just talking about not complaining as I'm complaining about the Jersey barriers there. Yippee. But I don't know. Like, I'm pretty lucky. I guess I just want my family to be healthy and safe. Other than that, I mean, what do I really have to ask for? I don't know. I think about that, though. Sitting there, like, praying. Everyone's quiet and praying, The guy's giving the invocation. I'm like, yeah, sorry I'm always asking for stuff, God. I feel like I'm a bit selfish here. Maybe I should give back something here. I don't know. I should probably take religion more seriously, to be quite honest. I need to read my Bible more and make sure I'm going to church. It's really a weak spot of mine, and I know I need to do better. I do. And I know I need to lose weight. I know that too. This back's killing me. I gotta get something done with my back here. I don't know. At least I didn't get put on pain pills. That's the one thing. But they're talking about surgery. I don't want to do surgery. I feel like that's just, once you start down that road, it's just always one thing after another. Now, I was telling my wife this. It was like, I went like 17 years without going to the doctor, like at all. And now it's like, every time you go, it's like, oh, there's 5 more things wrong with you. Whoopee! It's like, jeez. Sucks. Getting old sucks. But anyways, I was talking about not complaining. You get a little tired here while you're driving. You just start rambling on about this, that, and the other. But that's what I was thinking about today. I was like, I don't know. Does it really matter? I mean, it matters. It matters that you're trying to. I think politics matter. I do. But it doesn't matter as much as my family. And I'm pretty lucky there. So how angry can I really get about the politics? It's a weird thing, because I do think that, I talk about this on the show from time to time, but I do think that if you're talking to people about, let's be quite clear, shitty things, man, dark things. I would say the central theme of my beliefs and channel is that we have like an almost hopelessly corrupt political system. That's pretty dark. I feel like I have some obligation to let people know that you shouldn't be a weird, depressed, oh my goodness, black-pilled. And I know it gets boring, and I know it sounds cliche. Oh, you know what you should do? You should get married and have kids and have a lot of fun. Have a great life. Yeah, sure. Easier said than done. I get it. But, I mean, that is true, though. You can affect people in your personal life way more than you're probably going to be able to affect politics. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to affect politics. But, Trump fucks up this Epstein thing and he loses midterms and whatever, and, shit doesn't really get accomplished. I mean, that sucks, but I'll still be here working away. And my life's pretty good. I can't complain. I can complain. I do complain. I love that expression. I can't complain. Joe Walsh from the Eagles, my favorite Eagle, by the way. The song Life's Been Good. I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. That's not even my favorite line in that song. I go to party sometimes until 4. It's hard to leave when you can't find the door. I've been that guy. I've woke up at a party like, how the hell did I get here? Oh, here's a cool story. Now that I'm thinking of parties, I couldn't believe this. I won't say the guy's name, right? I don't think anyone would recognize the name anyways. But for privacy's sakes, I won't say the name. Though, I do think this person's going to come on stream with me at some point. I was super pumped about this story. So someone asked this dude that's like at our table talking, hey man, you going to show up to this event next week? And he says, I can't because I got some shit going on with a friend in a different city. He's having a party for his 50th birthday. Cool, right? And they're like, come on, you'd rather hang out, in this city across the country, Kansas City, I think it was. Rather hang out in Kansas City or St. Louis or somewhere as opposed to hang out with us. And he's like, yeah, listen to this. He's like, my buddy, who's like a well-to-do businessman, apparently was like, I got a musical guest. And the guy's like, I assumed it was like a cover band or something. Want to know who the musical guest that the guy was sitting with tonight is going to go be hanging out with next week? Pitbull, Mr. Worldwide. I about shit. I was like, oh my goodness, you're going to a party with Pitbull? You'd be drinking Fireball? He's like, yeah, I probably will be. And he's like, I really want to party with Pitbull. I was like, buddy, you better be careful what you wish for. You're going to wake up like 4 weeks later in the Caribbean, on some yacht with Pitbull and be like, how the fuck did I get here? Because I think Pitbull's like the real life Slurms McKenzie if you watch Futurama. Like the guy just is, I imagine his life is just partying to the point where he's like, man, I would just like to sleep. I would just like to sleep in. No, you got to get up. There's another party, Pitbull. Come on, we need you to sing. And he's like, oh, gosh. So there, I met a guy tonight that will, at this point next week, be partying with Pitbull. I'm very excited for him. I thought it would be a bit much if I asked, like, hey, you got an extra invitation? I'll come party with Pitbull, I don't think I'd be very good partying with Pitbull. I think 20 years ago, I could have kept up with Pitbull, but not now. Now I'd be like, I don't know, Pitbull. You want to go to another club? It is 8:30 in the evening. That's pretty late, Pitbull. Why don't we just head back? The hotel had pretty good air conditioning. I was thinking of just finding a movie and falling asleep. Doom scrolling Twitter tonight. And Pitbull would be like, hey, yay, or something, whatever he says. I don't know. If I remember, Pitbull's surprisingly conservative dude, man, which is neat. I was hearing all kinds of scuttlebutt from people about celebrities that are secretly conservative. But it was sort of maybe keep it at the table conversation stuff. So I'm not going to disclose anything. But interesting. You never know if these stories are true, but you hear people be like, swear, I was at Mar-a-Lago and I ran into this person. You're like, really? Interesting folks, some of which surprised me. And big names, too. I was like, huh. But you're not divulging stuff like that, Other stuff that you hear that you're not supposed to talk about, like little interpersonal relationships between some pretty big congressmen I was hearing about, Interesting shit. Hardly anything that matters, but you hear stuff. Anyways, I hung out with a guy today that'll be hanging out with Mr. Worldwide next week. Basically, I'm best friends with Pitbull. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to find a bottle of Fireball in my house and just start chugging. That's my plan. Or not. I'll probably go to bed. Anyways, I know my wife's very excited about that Pitbull news if she's still watching. I'm sure she's like, damn. Why couldn't a Pitbull been there today? I would have hung out with Pitbull. Bikers for Trump guy is pretty cool. There was a lot of people who are pretty cool. But Pitbull, that would have been all right. Trying to think of anything else interesting. That's it. That's pretty much my entire life story. I've ran out of all interesting things to say. And let's be clear, nothing has been that interesting. That's it. I'm tapped out. I don't know. I guess I should get out and do some more shit with my life so I have something interesting to say. So, do I have any fun stuff coming up, fun debates planned, or fun prep for debates? Not to my knowledge. Project VOD is still, we're still working on setting up the debates where we're going to try to do it bi-monthly. Am I getting that right? Bi-monthly means twice a month, right? I hope. Not every other month, but twice a month. We're trying at a maximum. If it's not that, if it's only once a month or less than that, that's fine too. But to set up these debates where he will moderate, he will set up the debate. I will not know the topic or my opponent. Jake will vet all of that. He'll make sure that it's a topic that I at least would be willing to debate. And that'll be that. He'll say, okay, come on the show, whatever night, Tuesday at 8. We'll be there. It'll be mystery opponent, mystery topic, and I'll fuck someone up on whatever it is. It won't matter. It'll be fun. So we're setting that up. I like to think that I got some potential guests coming on the show here for my foray into Pennsylvania politics today. We'll see how that works out. Exchange information. Give it a couple days, then I'll start emailing people, trying to set up some scheduled, appearances and shit. And like I said, I'd like to do some more in real life stuff. And I'm not trying to ask people for shit. I think that's a key. You don't want to ask too many favors of people, particularly when you're just meeting them. I'm trying to also help them. Like, what's your cause? Let's get information on your cause out there, And, let's be honest. I think these people would love to talk to me. I hope. But if they're looking to get eyeballs, maybe they do Andrew's show. Or maybe they do Jake Rattlesnake's show. Or someone who's a little bigger than me. They can reach a little more people. And I'd be more than happy to set up connections in that. But I try to make when I go to these events, I try from the bottom of my heart to let people know if I believe in your cause, I'll help out and within reason in ways that I can. If you need me to show up somewhere and try to do something, I can do that. If you want me to promote your stuff on the show, I can do that. So hopefully that parlays into some stuff. Like I said, I'd like at least, a portion of my show every week, at least once a week, a portion of it to be real world politics, that like real shit, like that, bringing on a congressman or a member of the PAGOP or for that matter any state, it doesn't matter, and talk to someone about actual. It's different. It's not it's not me telling some lefty to go fuck themselves, which I think the audience likes. So I don't know, but I hope people sit through that. I hope you don't find it too boring. That because I am trying. I do want to affect real world change. I do. And if it's a little thing that I can do, I'm happy to do it. And that's why I always do my 24-hour show before elections, trying to get out the vote. And listen, I try to run a fine line, and maybe I'm a hypocrite. Maybe I'm a piece of shit. I don't know. But I try to criticize the shit out of people, including people on my side. But when it comes time for elections, after the primaries, after I've had my say and pushed for who I could in the way that I wanted the best, I'll be a good team player. That's different than, Trump could do no wrong. Republicans could do no wrong. No. And if it ever gets to the point where I'm disgusted enough, I'm not beholden to I have to be Republican every day the rest of my life. No. But in our two-party system, my absolute hatred of the Democratic Party and what they stand for, their open borders, socialist, fucking trans issues, cultural issues, a bunch of people that hate men, that hate white people, that hate Christians, baby killers. Yeah, I think that I could if I'm forced to pick, I could go with the uniparty on the other side. I'll go with the Epstein protectors. Jesus God. Oh, man. Oh, what a pill to swallow that is, huh? Holy shit. Sometimes you have to envy these lefties, though, right? You have to envy the ability to never criticize your own side. And just having a conscience sucks, you know? But I wouldn't have it any other way. So, trying to think. Other things. You know, I remember being like a teenager, you'd see these signs. I'm sure it's different in like every state, because I'm sure it's like the State Department of Transportation that puts it up. But did you ever see a sign that says bridge may be icy? Right? I used to think that sign was funny as shit when I was young. I was like, yeah, I suppose it may be. What the fuck does that mean? Bridge may be covered in blood too, I guess, right? Like, thank you. Now I've noticed that it'll say, I see signs more often that says bridge ices before road. A little more specific. That I can, okay, I get it. But I don't know about bridge may be icy. What's the utility of that message? Like, I suppose so. You're right. It may be. So I'm glad. Maybe I like to think that someone heard my inner dialogue and was like, yeah, let's change that sign. Let's change it to bridge ices before road. But I don't know if it's different in every state. Maybe just PennDOT was slower on the uptick than every other state's Department of Transportation. I don't know. By the way, I hope this lapel mic's sounding all right, and I hope that it's still charged and I'm not now lisping my way through, the regular mic on the phone, because that sucks. It looks like it's still on when I glance down. It looks like I'm still streaming too. Ha! Hurrah! I can't believe this has worked pretty decently on the way out and the way here. A couple little hiccups, but, not too shabby. If only there was someone saying things that were worthwhile. The technology seems to be working. It's just the speaker sucks. He has nothing to say. Some of these interstate lights are like fucking blue. What is that about? Weird blue light. Come on now. That's weird. I'll leave off that story. Deer on the side of the interstate. Oh boy, that's appealing. It's the last thing you need. You live stream and smack a deer. Oh, let's see. I am. Let's see. 16 miles from my exit, and then another probably 10 minutes from there. So I think I'm making good time. I don't know. And people say that. I say that all the time. Making good time. What does that mean? I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm never making good time. Ever. Like, I always want to race the GPS. Like, the GPS will be like, oh, you're going to be there at 4:07. And I'll be like, I can beat that. And I never beat it. Ever. I'm not a very fast driver. I kind of take my time. So I guess that I'm not making good time. But I've been safe. I'm enjoying myself. I'm of the philosophy, if you just leave earlier, then you don't have to be a maniac and drive like 80 mile an hour. You can drive 70 mile an hour and be comfortable. And you don't have to. You can put your cruise control on and just relax. That's what I'm about, But I'm not really making good time, if I'm honest. I'm making time, but I don't know that it's good. Last night, I called into Andrew Wilson's, 200K sub special, and I think I had 30% left on my phone, and I call in, and it's through StreamYards, and there's like 10 people on there, all with a video screen, and I was on probably for a half an hour, maybe a little longer than that, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. And it took my phone from like 38% to 2%. And I didn't want to like rush out so quick, but it's something like that. There's 10 people talking and I'm trying to just be like, hey, I got to go. My phone's dying. Thanks for having me, blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't get a word in edgewise because the shitty phone mic sucks. So you have to stay muted because otherwise, as soon as you unmute, everything that's coming out the speaker is going back in through the mic, which sounds like shit. So, and my lapel mic had died and I needed to charge it. So 2%, I was like, I'm sorry, Andrew, I got to go. Congratulations. So I haven't had a chance to talk to him or Sarah Tomato. I hope the show went well. I know it did. Sarah's a great host. She's a great moderator. She does really good work. And like I was telling Sarah when I did the show there with her, when my channel got canceled, no, it's fine. The hardest part of like what someone like Sarah or maybe Modern Day Debates or anyone who's setting up these like panels or these debates, and I've done it, I've set up debates and stuff. The hardest part's the behind the scenes shit, right? Trying to find a schedule that works for everyone, trying to contact people, trying to find a topic that works for everyone, trying to find people that make sense for the debate. That shit sucks, man. I hate that. I hate the behind the scenes stuff. And then someone cancels at the last minute or someone's going to be 30 minutes late. It sucks. So Sarah does a good job with that. I really do think she does. And then, of course, when it comes to like, not just debate, but part of it is like, listen, I am authentic. This is who I am. And unless it's obvious, I'm arguing what I believe. So there are times it's obvious. Like if I'm trans positive, Rob, I think people get the joke. Or if like someone's like, hey, can you argue socialism good? I'll be like, okay. Everybody knows I don't really believe socialism's good, But other than that, I'm telling you authentic things I believe. I might change my mind from time to time, but it is what it is. I'm saying but there is a bit of showmanship to it, if I'm honest. People don't want to just tune in to stuffy, they want some amount of entertainment. And so when you're doing these panels and debates, you're trying to be funny, you're trying to be aggressive, but also affable, And I think that Andrew does a very good job of that. Andrew's entertaining. Even if you hate him, he's entertaining. So I'm sure the show went good yesterday. And if not, well, what do you expect? I wasn't there. So I really wanted to call in and debate Andrew for like 2 hours on something, but the schedule didn't work out there. I was doing in real world events. In real life, I guess. What does that mean? In real life, in real whatever. Everything's in real life, I guess. It's funny, a lot of people there, right? First up, here's a big fuck up I had going to this event. I don't have business cards, which was fine when I wasn't doing this as a business, but now I am. So it'd be nice if I'm trying to get people to come on my show if I actually had a fucking business card. So that will be remedied this week. I'm going to get some business cards made. But I think I did okay. Because a lot of people don't want to exchange their personal phone info with you, They don't. So you give them a business card and then they'll message you if they feel like it. That usually works better. But I don't know. Maybe, at an event like that, like Scott Presler probably got 12 business cards today. You think he's checking them? I don't know. When I was running for Congress, it was always like, hey, here's a business card. And you're like, okay, thanks. I don't know. I used to be a businessman. It's my favorite line from the movie The Final Sacrifice, which you've probably never seen. And if you have seen it, like me, you've probably seen the Mystery Science Theater making fun of it. It is my favorite Mystery Science Theater episode, The Final Sacrifice. What a fantastic movie with the great Canadian hero Rousdower. But he's like, I'm not even going to explain the plot, but it makes me laugh so hard. Like there's this cult after this kid and he saves this kid. And the kid's like, well, what's your job? And he just drinking a beer. He's like, I used to be a businessman. Just the absurdity of it. I don't know what it is about that line. I've quoted that for years. Used to be a businessman. I've never been a businessman, but I like to think I used to be, I was very pleased I got to play some Maurice Del Taco for you guys from Kenny vs. Penny the other day. And yes, I know whoever's watching that's a lefty, Kenny and Spenny are probably both lefties that would hate my politics. I don't give a shit. I still find the first 4 or 5 seasons of that show to be funny. And yes, it's stupid. I don't care. I'm tired of pretending that I don't like stupid shit. Yeah, spoiler alert. Half my life's liking stupid shit. That's just the way it is. I don't know what to say. I grew up watching yet I watched it. And I still text my friends. In fact, I think there's a wrestling pay-per-view on right now that my friends are probably texting me in the text chain about that I'm missing. I don't watch wrestling much anymore. I primarily watch it just so I can text my friends and bitch. What the hell was that move? Why does this guy keep yelling yeet? What the hell is that about, And that's fun. Bitching about stuff's fun. But I fell asleep last night watching at my friend Carlos's house. The room I was in, very comfortable. But I fell asleep watching the movie The Accountant, which I'd never seen. And I'll be honest, it looked all right. I think I'll give it a go. Some night that I'm not doing anything, I think I'll watch The Accountant because my father-in-law told me he watched The Accountant Part 2 and really liked it. So I was like, well, I should probably watch the first one before the second one. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a chance. And then a couple people were talking about the new Superman movie, grousing about it. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to watch it because James Gunn's a prick that wants to lecture me about immigration. So, fuck him. There. Want to know what my kryptonite is, James Gunn? Prick directors lecturing me about politics. Shut up and direct. So there's my protest. How about that? Now, it's not like I would have went to theaters to see Superman, but now I really won't go. That'll show him. Eat that, James Gunn. And the rest of you. I watch like people like Nerdrotic and the Movie Cynic and all these people that bitch about like woke Hollywood all the time. And like in my inner monologue, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go watch that. And then I'm like, yeah, but in fairness, I wasn't anyways. So it's not like if they were like, hey, man, the new Ant-Man movie is totally not woke, that I'd be like, oh, shit, looks like I'm on my way to the theater to see Quantumania. No, it wasn't going to happen anyways. But in my head, I like to think it's like this. Like I always try to tip very well, like when we go out to eat. So I'll tip like between I usually tip probably around 30% or like maybe a little higher. And then if I get bad service, I'll tip like 15%. And then I like tell my wife like, oh yeah, I showed her. My wife's like, yeah, they don't know that you normally tip 30%. So to them, you just give a regular tip, you dumbass. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But still, in my head, I proved a point. A lot of my life's proving points that no one else knows I'm proving. It's a lot of what I'm doing here. I have like weird feuds with people that don't even know that I have a feud with them. Because I'm still acting pretty personable to them. But I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to take that guy's mail in. How about that, neighbor? Ha! That'll show him. Then I see him. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Not my neighbor now. My neighbor now is great. But it's my little protest. I'll show these people. Getting close now. Oh, boy. Midnight. Crossing it. What is today's date even though? I don't know. Now, I'm hoping everyone donated a pile of money. I'll remind you, as great as you guys have been, and you have been great. You've been fantastic. You've been far more generous than I deserve. However, Dean Withers is still beating me. Just saying. Mr. Call CPS on fucking fathers that I disagree with. Dean Withers. That guy's getting more money than me. That's unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. Of course, it's easy for me to say that because I'm the guy that would be getting more money. But still, as a community, we must come together and send me money so that I outraise Dean Withers on YouTube. I'm willing to make that sacrifice of taking you all's money to defeat him. And I think, quite honestly, that's pretty big of me to be willing to do that. And I'll take that money, and just to piss off Dean Withers, I will buy some anxiety pens for my wife. And she'll call them vapes like a real person that's not a perpetual offended sissy. All righty. Is this the exit I want? No. Next exit. You get like a buffet of choices here once you're close. It's like, one exit's a little before my house, one exit's sort of a little after. They both sort of merge. Let's take the second exit. I'm having a good time on the interstate. Now, I realize I still have like a quarter of my Celsius left, the caffeine drink I drink. But at this point, I don't think I'm going to finish it, because am I really trying to stay up? Like, by the time the caffeine hits, I'll be at home, and then I'll be like, I'd like to lay down and go to bed. But then I'll have a bunch of caffeine in me. Then I'll be sitting up playing chess on my phone, or, heaven forbid, reading X, bitching about Trump, like, fucking Pam Bondi. That'll keep you. Start to get a little tired here, getting near the exit. Just think about my rage for how the Epstein thing's been handled. What a crock of shit. What the fuck are they doing? Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. And then they act like, after all the fucking everyone was bitching about Bongino and Patel and fucking Trump, actually now, it was always a fucking Obama list. It was always what a crock of shit. Am I going to have to go to Mar-a-Lago and be like, what the fuck are you people doing? Maybe I'm the only one not in the fucking list, because I stay in Clarion County, Jeez. Some older gentleman accidentally cut in front of me at line at lunch today. And I don't know why he was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm a bad guy. And I was almost just like, yeah, you're probably on Epstein's list, aren't you? But I reserved it. I realized it wouldn't have made sense. Probably not a good thing to accuse random strangers at the Republican meeting of being on the Epstein list. So I refrained intelligently. But in my head, I was like, I'm looking for an opportunity to yell at people that they're on the list. But I did not. Probably better for him to not start accusing people of that shit. The big question that before the event started that people were talking to me about is it legal to release a list? So, like, let's say I'm on the list and me and my wife flew to Epstein's Island, but we didn't do anything crazy and we came home. And so I don't want that list released. Is it legal to release a list like that? I think yes. I don't think it's illegal. I think maybe there's potential issues, but I think ultimately the answer is yes, because they've released some of the flight logs. So I don't know. I think if they wanted to, there would be ways to get around it. But the problem's not legal anyways. The problem's ethical. But, it's depressing. It really is. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We are off the interstate. We're on the ramp. Bam! Now, I will lose you coming up here, I assume. But don't worry, we won't shut down the stream. I'll hurry up, run in, say, hi, wife. I could go upstairs and end the stream. I'll go up and I'll hop on my camera and my microphone and say, wow, you guys are the best. You donated $2. Thank you so much for your $2. You know what's funny, though? I'm joking about it, but I don't give a shit. If you guys donated $2, thank you so much, for real. Like, I mean, this has to be one of the all-time dumbest streams ever in the history of live streams. So, I mean, what do I deserve? What do I deserve on a good night, let alone a night like this? So, whatever came in's fine. If even one person watched this and got any sort of enjoyment out of it, I'm happy. Hell, even if you didn't, I'm happy. I stayed up and I didn't wreck, and I actually had fun driving home, which is nice. If it wasn't this, I'd be listening to Cool 103.3, singing, I don't know what's playing right now. I miss the rains down in Africa. That's what I'd be doing, singing terribly in the car. Thought I was an okay singer, but no, I'm bad. I know it. That's okay though. I could give a speech in front of 1 million people. I could sing terribly in front of 1 million people. I'd be all right. But you know what I can't do? I'm so embarrassed to dance. Even at my wedding, I was like, oh boy, dance in front of people, particularly slow dance. I may ask myself, but slow dance, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm 2 left feet, and just clumsy asshole. My son's taking after me. He's pretty clumsy. He never, just like me, he never watches where he's going. I'm sure I've said this on the channel before, but if I had a superpower, if we could weaponize this, if the U.S. government and military could weaponize this superpower and somehow I would be the fucking Iron Man of our military, the Tony Starks. I have an uncanny ability to always be in someone's way, no matter where I'm at. I could stand in the corner of a room. I could climb up a ladder on the corner of a room and be in the upper, in the fucking ceiling somehow, in the corner of a room. And as soon as I'm there, someone's going to be like, oh, excuse me, I actually need here. It's really impressive. And today was no exception. Every spot I went, excuse me. Oh, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll just duck over here. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to get my chair there. Oh, it's so weird. I'm sure there's a rule for that. Just getting in people's way. There's got to be some utility, I would guess. And Hank he's definitely my son. He's carrying after that trait. He's always in the way. He's always he's never walking forward. He's always walking sideways or backwards, or he's looking to the side while he's walking forward and bumping into things, always. And we're always particularly if you're out at the store or something, grocery shopping, you're like, Hank, you got to pay attention. Where are you walking? You walk, bam, right into the produce section. It's sorry. I'm like, no, I'm not mad. You got to pay attention, dude. Oh, journey time at 3 hours, says the car. Nice. Well, I've pretty much been driving since 6:45, so because I had to drive from Wysox to Williamsport home, so it's been a drive. What am I complaining about though? My father-in-law's a truck driver. Dude's driving 12-hour days, It's good to I always for me, a long drive relatively. I always like the feeling of there's I assume it's different for everyone. You got certain benchmarks once you're here, you're practically home. There's something nice about it. It's that's it. It's over, baby. We're on the home stretch now. It's nice. I like my little town. I don't want to live anywhere else. I could buy a bigger house. It's not even bigger. It's not that I want a bigger house. I just want a different layout. My house is okay. Don't get me wrong. It is. It's very nice. But if I got huge amounts of money and I was ever okay, I'm going to get my dream house, it would literally be within 10 minutes of where I live. I like where I live. I don't want to live anywhere else. I like being close enough to my parents and my wife's parents, but also far enough away that we're not direct neighbors. That's sort of nice too. I like the people in this community. I like the woods here. I like the little shitty gas station here. I like this shitty gas station. Country Fair, nice to see you again. I'm at the light outside the Country Fair. It's great to be here. Little tire shop where I lose reception that's coming up. I like that tire shop too. There's an antique store right there. Never been into it, but I still like that antique store. Oh, there's the Green Arrow. I know I was talking about that yesterday. I made the bold claim that the Green Arrow, the most powerful of all the road signals, nothing could beat the Green Arrow. And then as I said it, I'm getting ready to turn into Green Arrow, and here comes an ambulance. So then you had to yield to it. And I was like, holy shit, I never thought of that. Ambulance beats Green Arrow. So there you go. a litany of things. I'm usually not wrong in debates, but any non-political claim I'm making, I'm wrong 95% of the time. I don't know what the hell. What are the chances of that? Like literally, as I'm saying it, proven wrong. Like, oh shit. I'll remember that though. People are always like, well, when have you ever admitted that you're wrong about it? How about that time I said nothing beats the green arrow and then the ambulance gave me what for? There's that time. Oh, I'll be passing the trophy shop that William Gramer Jr.'s name's going to be on whenever they finish my damn trophy. Might take a bit, but I'm probably going to lose you. Like right here. This is it. We're entering the dip. That's what it's like to live in the boonies. We're going to lose you. I'm going to be mid-sentence, and you're going to lose me. But don't worry. I'll be back. There's the old animal shelter where my car broke down last year, and I got to stand in the goddamn blizzard. That was fun. My wife was sending me to get milk, by the way, and an anxiety pen. And I broke down right there. That was fun. Now, we just repaired the cars. We spent about $3,000 between the two cars. But if I make it through, it's going to be a shocking development. Unbelievable. We just hit it right, with the right cloud coverage or some shit. I don't know. Well, now we got a nice little car shop here, a little auto parts store. Hello, how you doing? And coming up to the final light. There's the trophy store. Goodbye, trophy store. Why am I narrating like I'm fucking on Blue's Clues or something? I don't know. I'm a little tired. There we go. The final light. Turn signal on. This is the best. Turning at the last light. Oh boy, now it's close. I can hear my guinea pig squealing already when I walk in. I have a great dog. My dog Dorothy's great, and it's definitely my dog. Like Dorothy likes me best. She's definitely Dad's dog, so she'll come running right up to me, and I'll say, "Dorothy, I gotta go upstairs for a minute and shut down the stream. Give me a second." I assume my Hank man's in bed. I hope so. It's midnight, for goodness sakes. But oh man, it's been a day. Bad political stuff with the Trump stuff. Good political stuff. Hanging out with all the people I was hanging out with. Car ride home, pretty fun. Enjoyed that. I assume I've made thousands of dollars. Now listen, I'm going to catch you bastards too, because I'm going to check the dono goal that should still be up. I'm hoping. We're going to check it. So I'm going to find out what's happening. I'm going to know. And so hurry up, get those donations in real quick before I get home and I go, what? What happened here? No. I can't believe I didn't lose reception there. It's like the first time in like 5 years I've drove through there and didn't lose reception. Oh boy, here we are. Turning in the driveway. Now, where to park here? I believe I'll park in the yard. It's my yard. Park there if I want. Who the hell's going to stop me? Oh boy. We get these little weeds that pop up. We always cover your kids' ears if they're listening. We always called them dog dick ticklers. These little weeds that stick up. Anyways, there's a lot of dog dick ticklers in my yard, so looks like I'll be mowing tomorrow. All right, here we are. Bam, car off. I think you're still with me. All right. Let's see. What do I got to carry in here? That's garbage. This I'll take. Listen. Let's see if you can hear this. So my neighbor's got a pool that they, it's not been cleaned out this year. I think they're getting rid of it, but it's still there and it's still got some water in it. Can you hear this? I don't think they'll mind if I walk over. Fuck it. There's a lot of peep frogs. I don't know if you can hear the peepers. They quieted up because I shut my car door. Always like the peepers. They're happy to see me. They're happy I came home. All right. Grab my bag. It's good to be home. All right. No shit. Just dropped my bag. All righty. Lights off. Yes. Okay. All right. We got a package. What's my wife doing? Package out here. Holy shit. What kind of spider is that? Oh, hi, buddy. This guy's huge. All right. Might be Smitty's uncle or something here. All right. Wife, if you could hear me, don't say anything to offend. Okay. Give me a second. I'll head upstairs and we'll wrap her up. Okay. All right. Poke in, see if my wife's up real quick. Hey, wife, I'm going upstairs to finish up. I love you. Okay. Heading up. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, I think oh man. Okay, give me a second. Get this wrapped up. Okay. Eek. Okay, 1 second. Let's get the camera rolling. I think you guys should be able to hear me though. Huh? What we got here? 169. What's 36? Wow. 36 people stuck it out through this shit show. I gotta go to OBS and open up my camera here, so give me a second. Oh, you have to see my badass outfit that I wore here today. It's not that badass. No, this isn't gonna work. What is going on here? Hey, there I am. My hat's down a little low. Let me take my stupid ass bracelet off. I made it. I'm alive. Good to be home. So, look at that. $452 in 2 days. Now, listen. Here's the thing. I think this is technically a loss because that's a 2-day running total, which means seeing as how the great Amicad gave $357 yesterday, I know that we met the goal yesterday, which heavily implies we did not meet the goal today. So I'd like to make excuses and say, well, I was in the car and blah, blah, blah. But no excuses. This is a failure. Your failure. You all failed. You ought to be ashamed. Amicad says, would you rather meet your goal tonight or spread out my donation? Oh, dude, I'm just fucking... People don't have to donate anything for real. It's perfectly reasonable, Amicad. But I do appreciate the offer. By the way, I saw late today or yesterday your message to me on Discord, Amigad, dude, don't feel weird at all. Incredibly generous offer, so don't feel weird at all. The Olive Jar song will surely make us get our goal. Yeah, that'll do it, right? Now let me make sure I have the right mic. Yeah, that microphone's right. Okay. Oh man, a little tired. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I could stay up debating until 4 a.m. and I'm less tired than just driving. Driving, like, I don't know, makes me tired, particularly at night. So, gotta kick the dog to show your alarm. What are you talking about? Kick my dog. My dog's downstairs in bed. So, yeah, it was a good week. I have pictures I could upload at some other time, but we'll save that for tomorrow. Let me text my friend and let him know that I made it home. One second. But yeah, I wore a button down. No gym shorts, no t-shirt. Nah. Gotta make a song about driving for the grift. All right, we can do that before I leave. What is this? Oh. My wife set up. My wife. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna do one song before we go to bed here. All right. Now listen, this better get some sort of donation if I'm going to make a song about this. So, okay. Oh my goodness. Sleepy. Here we go. Yeah, now that people could see the goal, they have to 63%. Now you're like, come on. Now you got to donate. By the way, I don't see Smitty, which is bad news. Smitty! I saw a huge ass spider downstairs, but okay, here we go. All right, here we go. The hell's going on? Some love, I say with a grin. The road keeps calling. What the? It's like loading. I've never had this happen. Let's try the other version. One hand on the wheel, one eye on the chat. Signals cutting out, but I can't stop that. Send me some love, I say with a grin. The road keeps calling, but my wallet's thin. $1 here, $1 there. Promises hanging in the air. Next donation gets a shout.
highway chasing my dream. Pixels flicker like a neon beam. Donations rolling, but they're way too small. Hit the brakes, I'm short on my goal after all. Highway chasing my dream. Pixels flicker like a neon beam. Donations rolling, but they're way too small. Hit the brakes, I'm short of my goal after
Oh, yeah. Look at that. What a song. Let's read the super chats tonight. I could do that. How about this? Naughty Germ started us off. I predicted that, I believe, in the car. $5. Thank you. Todd Sullivan, thank you so much for $10. Abject Fool, $50. Man, thank you so much. Ethan Levin, $5 as Strangers Midnight Version. Roosevelt. Must be a band. I don't know. Dean Jacobs. Hi, Rob. Hi, all for $5. Thank you, Dean. Cody Folsom, $5 says, hope all is well, Rob. Doing very well. Crisco gives $10, says, Epstein got a plea deal in 2007 while George Bush Jr. was president. Very Democrat conspiracy. Oh. Harbar Gnar, great to hear from you, says, Rob, Andrew Wilson's Joker arch nemesis is Destiny. Who is yours? Pisco, Radical Coder, Harbar Gnar. Peace and love, Rob. I don't know. I guess it would be... At one point, it would have been Pisco. At one point, it would have been Dylan Burns. At one point, it would have been Destiny. I don't know who it is now. I haven't really had a nemesis here lately, but we'll find one. Pesos. $2. Just make sure you go to church tomorrow, you drunk. I should go to church tomorrow. It's true. I'm not drunk, though. An Abject Fool. Unbelievable. For another $100. My goodness. Abject Fool's not letting us down. $150 donated tonight. And one of the shittiest streams you'll ever see. Me just rambling in the car. $150. Unbelievable. It actually gets us quite close to our goal. We need what? 714. So we're, what? 160 away? I'm pretty bad at math. 60 would be 615. Yeah. 160. Oh, folks, I'm not going to read that. But thank you for being a member. He says Austin Hall's on a very bad list, but I don't want to get sued for some sort of libelous. So, it's funny, Zero Fucks. By the way, Zero Fucks, I always called you O Fucks. I saw that you mentioned me on Adam and Sitch's show. I mentioned it the other day in the show. First off, thanks for steering Adam in the correct direction. Secondly, I don't know where the hell Adam gets this idea that I don't criticize Trump. I don't expect them to be watching my show every night or something, but I didn't think it was a big secret that I've been criticizing the shit out of him and did in his first term. So, man, Ned Kelly, what's up? Thank you. Nice to hear from you. How's it going, man? How was the trip? Fantastic. It was a lot of fun. Always great to see my friend Carlos, his wonderful wife, very generous. My friend Doug McClinko had the event at his house, and his wife, Lynette, always very generous. Got to meet Lynette's mom, very nice lady, and hobnobbing around with a bunch of politicians, always fun. Yeah, no one's going to take up Amigad's offer. I didn't see what it was, but I assume Amigad was like, I'll match any donos up to $80,000, I think is what Amigad said. Oh, no, $80. Okay. Also very generous. 80,000 would be more generous, just saying. But $80 is also generous. I saw that, Zero Fucks, that, yeah, you showed him a clip. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to Adam and Sitch. I'll reach out to them and go on. And, of course, that's a hallmark. They never criticize their own side. It's only dumbasses like me that come on here and criticize my own side. Must be easy to just be a total sycophant. But All right, listen. I'm probably going to wrap up. It looks like Austin Hall wins tonight. We gave it our best. Damn it. We did. No, not really. Let's be honest. We didn't give it our best or we reached the goal. But we gave it something. Something happened. It's pretty impressive, nonetheless. But I don't think it was our best. You ever notice people say that all the time? Like, I did my best. Nah, you probably didn't. I did everything I could. Nah, you didn't. I don't think I've ever once in my life done everything I could for anything. If I'm totally honest, I rarely do even most of what I should. What's up, Seawolf? What's up, Vengeful Truther? I had a great last couple of days. Austin Hall would say $550 just for driving and ranting is highly unreasonable. That's true. Not quite dead. $10. Thank you. Says, hello, Robert. Hello. Not quite dead. It's great to hear from you. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was a little worried about the setup of trying to drive and stream. I was safe, so I wasn't like looking at my phone or anything like that. But I was worried about the setup of losing reception and all of that shit. And it only happened once on both the drive out and the drive back. So Amicad matches the $10. Thank you so much. True to his word. Said he would match any dono up to $80. That means for the next $70, if someone donates, Amicad's going to match it. That'd put us over our goal. Just saying. I think it would, unless I'm really bad at math. Let's see. 100 be 674. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly. When you're trying, Cody Folsom says, that's how I feel when I'm trying to set up driving and drinking. I stopped at a drive-thru after we left the event and grabbed Wendy's. Me and Carlos stopped at Wendy's. And I was explaining to Carlos, like, I don't do this often, but there is a skill in picking out the least messy option at fast food while you're driving and eating. So I went with a chicken sandwich, light mayo. No lettuce, nothing. Just light mayo and chicken. Because I feel like you don't want something with like a burger with ketchup and mustard and pickles and shit that's all dripping all over you. Look at this. I am very impressed with myself. I was in the muddy fucking rainstorm all day today. Bunch of food and shit. No stains on the shirt. Yeah, I know I'm not on Rumble. You want to know the truth? My wife couldn't figure out Rumble. So Rumble's a little different. You have to set up a different stream key every day and, shit like that. So I felt it wasn't worth trying to. Tomorrow we'll be back on Rumble, I assure you. But yes, that leaves me with a dilemma, though. Do I put these past 2 night streams on private like I always do on YouTube? Because you can always go to Rumble and check it out. Or do I say because it's not on Rumble? Now, maybe I do want to hide these streams because they're shitty car streams. Yeah, the RB roast beef sandwich plane is good. It does not look like a car. I look like I'm sitting in my... It's a clever green screen. I'm actually driving right now, Yeah, you guys, you missed my epic car stream. The car stream out there was probably more fun because I got lost in Williamsport for 20 minutes and looked like an ass. It was quite fun. Also, I had to take my phone case off in order to fit my little, I don't know what this thing is, little dongle or something that you got to put in the bottom. So I should probably put my phone case back on or else I'll drop my phone and break it or some shit. Yeah, you eat tacos in the car sounds like a bad choice. Now, I just want to say, I'm willing to leave. Well, I'm willing to leave. I got to leave, right? And we're real close to beating our goal here with Mr. Shitbird Austin Hall, who was waiting for tonight. He knew I'd be in the car the past 2 nights and was like, yes, finally I'll win. And we're real close to beating this prick. And we're so close that Amagad has agreed to match up to the next $70, which would mean that we would only need $70 of donation to pass it up. We're close, but I don't know how much later I could stay up. Just wondering, Rob, are you going to review the immigration debate that Andrew had last night at any time? Sure. You want to do it tomorrow? I haven't watched it at all. What did you all think? How did Andrew do in that debate? Oh, Abject Full. Coming in hot with 50 more bucks. Man, Abject Fool gave $200 tonight. Holy shit. Amagad gave $357 last night. Oh shit, I've screwed up. Thank you so much, Abject Fool. Yeah, how'd that debate go? What'd you all think? Amagad matches it. Now we're real close. Thank you, Amagad. Unbelievable. You two are too nice. And did I permanently fuck up my phone here? I hope not. What did I do? Oh no. There we go. Got it. RTP guy was a moron. Yeah, but okay, I get that. You guys don't like him, but how was the debate? The guy was a moron, but did he make good points? Did Andrew make good points? I am home, Ashton. Andrew did great. The other guy was being jello. Andrew cleaned his clock, robbed in my honest opinion. These idiot lefties are so disingenuous. They literally say historical impact on slavery is bad, but we're okay with wage slaves. Andrew attacked it from the same angle I did, arguing that social cohesion is more important than GDP. Made me happy. It's almost like maybe someone talked to Andrew beforehand and helped develop a strategy. Interesting. How was the specific economic debate, though? I'm interested. I have a vested interest in that. Because I'm aware that the strategy from RTP was going to try to focus heavily on economics. So if it was me debating, what I would have done was hit a quick offense on economics in a way that I think I could, and then run some defense and then argue social cohesion and rule of law is more important than just a slight uptick in GDP. Fuck, I might even say you could concede a slight loss in GDP. I might even say that. I might say that and then say the slight uptick in GDP, what are we talking, 40, $50 billion? Maybe that's not worth the 500 billion or so that we have as a transfer of wealth from the poor and working class to the upper class. Maybe that's something that I would have said. Interesting. That's an interesting strategy. Very interesting. Oh my goodness. Gassé Leon, Gassé Lane. Gassé Lane. It's like an anime character. Is that, maybe it's some name from anime. I don't know. But who gives a shit? Sends $20 and says, with this last match, I believe you win, right? And Amagad says, matched. And we'll see if we can, how my wind is after today. There we go. Go! That's all you get, 12 seconds. It's been a long driving day. Yeah, apparently I debated this RTP guy before. He was like, back when Aftershock was setting up debates for me, he set up these debates with these two dudes on TikTok. And I remember both dudes, but I don't remember which was each one's name. I think this was the second guy I debated who was a big fan of the mute button. He was a big fan of just muting me so I couldn't say anything. So I wonder how good he would do if he isn't controlling that mute button. Yeah, I could attack the economic argument. Absolutely, I can. Be happy to do it. So, Rob, channel was started. Oh, good for you, Ashton. Yeah, man. That's great to hear. Yeah. But I'll say this. I've done like 24-hour streams. I've done debates until, the wee hours of the morning. You start doing 8, 9, 10 hours of debate. Andrew did, granted, there was a little break in there where it was like dick around time yesterday. But Andrew did basically 12 hours of debates. And like your head starts to turn in mush, especially if you're debating lefties. And it's like, holy shit. Yeah, 0 Day, that's right. Like, see, one topic that was proposed to me to do a debate was that, like, just the topic, illegal immigration is good for GDP. And that's a shit topic for me, because it technically may be.
slavery is also good for GDP in the short term, because, right, like, it's not just about making slightly more widgets, you know? Yeah, the car stream's over, so I've been streaming 3 hours. So I streamed 2.5 hours in the car, and I just made it home. So new shit. You guys like this shirt? My wife picked this out for me. It says beer and steaks. It's got little burgers, little spatulas. That's pretty cool. Little pepper there. Barbecue, it says. All right, here's the deal, though. We could talk about all this stuff. We'll talk a little, tomorrow, maybe more people are watching because it's not a car stream. And I could talk about the Republican event I went to a little. I'm not going to rehash the entire car stream here. Then maybe we'll do a debate review or something like that. But it's interesting to get people's feedback and how that went. That was the debate I was interested in. I'll be honest, like the first debate Andrew was doing with the chick that claims Andrew's a bad ortho, whatever. Like, whatever. It's not my cup of tea, But anyways, thank you all so much. It's amazing. Thanks to how great you all are. Particularly, I got to give it up to Abject Fool and Amagad, really, for donating like crazy the past 2 days. Really amazing support that you guys give me. It is well appreciated. And everyone who's stuck around and watched any part of that car stream, thank you so much. And even if no one had watched it, it did help me. It helps keep the circus in my mind going as I'm able to drive and not fall asleep. But I hope, I'll ask people more tomorrow when I can see the chat, what they think of sort of the idea of trying to take some of these online spaces. And listen, I'm going to be looking at your feedback as well, because I'm going to go to my boss, Andrew Wilson, and I'm going to talk to him and Mr. E and Jim Bob and Jake Rattlesnake and dudes like that and be like, what would you guys think about doing some in real life Republican events with me? Would you guys want to meet up? You want to go? It doesn't have to be in my state. We can go to a different state. I'm probably not going to fly to Australia with fucking Jake. I don't know how strong the Republican Party is in Australia. That's a joke. But you know what I mean? I think it'll be good. I think that it's worthwhile. We'll see what the audience thinks. Maybe the audience thinks no. Maybe you think the Republican Party's shit and it's not worth doing, in real life events. Nothing comes of it. Always wants me to talk about Epstein. Go back and watch the beginning of this episode. I don't know what to say. I'm sure we'll be talking about it all next week. No matter what, no matter how much we're told to move on, I probably can't, because I'm a bad Trump supporter and a bad Republican. What can I say? Ron Paul is throwing a 90th birthday bash, 500 seats. Oh, so. All right, well, I'm going to get some sleep. Let's raid someone. Andrew's streaming, right? Let's raid Andrew. His big special. No? Andrew's not streaming now? Is he done? Is Crucible done streaming? No shit. I thought I just saw he was live. What? Can we confirm? Is Andrew done for the night? Anyone? Oh, well, shit. Well, thank you for coming over here. I'm going to raid Sarah. Abe Dinkins is up. All right, let's raid Abe. No, you know what? I owe Sarah a raid. Let's do it tonight. Abe, I'll get you next time. I promise, man. Sorry, no hard feelings. But yeah, let's I owe Sarah a raid. So let's do it. Headed home. Car stream. My wife titled that. Yeah, so if you missed it, it was literally just me fumbling around with a mic, yelling about people cutting me off in traffic for 2 hours. If that sounds like the kind of thing that's up your alley, I'll leave this video up on YouTube at least for a day or two, and you can check it out. I did rant and rave about politics, too. So, maybe you'll like it. Maybe not. I don't know. But, man, I'm lucky to have you guys. I really am. You guys are cool as shit, and I thank you so much. For all your support, both financial and otherwise. And I'm talking you guys up like you're like, just so you know, I'm talking to like all these Congress people and shit. And I'm like, oh, my audience is like, these are some fucking whip smart dudes. Let me tell you, if you ever want to talk to an audience to like gauge sort of the feeling of the country, you got to come onto my show and, let my audience here. Cause these guys, like, they got their fingers on the pulse, I didn't tell them like, yeah, my audience, they're like all making dick jokes the whole time. And, We left that part out. We were like, so, you know, if I bring a congressman on, you guys all got to pretend to be like on the up and up. Like, hello, congressman. It's great to see you today. I just got off my business meeting. You know, you guys got to all pretend like you're like serious business people and we're not just a bunch of like fuckheads that we are. You know, we're going to try to keep the swear stump. Be like, well, I think that's a bunch of balderdash, sir. You know, we'll talk like that. It'll be good stuff, you know. So, all right, I'm gonna hopefully I peeked in until my wife was up a little. So hopefully she's still up by the time I get downstairs and I can say, hi, wife, I love you. And then I'll probably fall asleep watching Fortune Fire or something and then talk to my wife tomorrow. Actually, I think I might get a shower. It's pretty wet there. And so I just feel a little soggy, if that makes sense. I don't think I stink. I got the cologne on and all that shit. I went, you know, I did it right. I went out there like a boss, you know. So, all right, enjoy the raid of Sarah Tomato. I think there's some sort of debate going on over there. That should be fun. Debates are fun. Like that. Thank you for helping me reach my goal tonight. Fuck you, Austin Hall, for thinking you were going to win. You fucking loser. How's that feel? Even when I'm in the car, even then you lose. It's got to feel terrible. It's really like, it's like I'm the Steelers and Austin Hall's the Cleveland Browns. Loss after loss after loss after loss. Or I'm any team and Austin Hall's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Loss after loss after loss. All righty. Thank you all so much. We'll see you tomorrow around 10 p.m. Eastern. This week, I think I'm going to try, unless some shit comes up with the Crucible and I have to do like some work that I'm unintended. I'm going to try to keep doing like live streams around noon to 12:30 Eastern time. To do a call-in show for about an hour and a half every day. So we're going to test that out. So if you got something on your brain, you want to yell at me about something, you think my Epstein takes are shit, feel free. Call in, yell at me, and I'll say, ban this guy. What the fuck is he doing calling in, disagreeing with me? Get him the fuck out of here, mods. And then who's in here? Who do I have that's a mod that's in here right now? Any mods listening? They'll listen. They'll be like, yeah, fuck this guy. Out. See ya, buddy. That's what it'll be. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. You guys have a great time watching Sarah Tomato. Thanks for sticking with me. As always, have a good one.